Aloha and happy Aloha Friday Eve. Gotcha, did I? Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night edition of your ʻEwa Neighborhood Board. Father's meeting in order at 7 o'clock. We will begin with reading of the rules. Board Member Alex.
Sure. Aloha. This is your community public forum. Your input and cooperation are really appreciated. The ʻEwa Neighborhood Board is an advisory board, and we provide fairness, integrity, and collaboration to all to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise their hand and when recognized by the chair to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 1 minute, one turn per person. Those giving reports are urged to keep the reports less than 3 minutes and presentations under 10 minutes. Please silence all electronic devices. The board will make a good faith effort to provide the public with the opportunity to observe the meeting as it happens and an opportunity to provide oral testimony without a physical presence in the physical meeting room. Please ensure that your computer or phone is muted unless you are speaking. Note the board may take action on any agenda item. As required by the state sunshine law, specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote, 8 of this 11-member board is needed to add an item to the agenda. Items may not be added if they are of major importance and will affect a significant number of people.
All right. Thank you, Board Member Alex. Next up, we will have introduction of board members. We will begin at the far right. I'd like to welcome several new board members this term, returning to support the returning members. We'll start at the very end, sir.
Should be on already.
Check, check. Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Borgia.
Bernadette Pata.
Aloha, Susan Gorman Chang.
Good evening, Zachary Espino.
Hello, John Rogers.
Aloha, Alexander Gauss.
Aloha, Mitchell Tananis.
And I believe we have a couple board members online.
Aloha, Mike Plowman.
I believe we have one more board member. You may be muted. Corey's not going to join us tonight. Okay. My name is John Clark. Welcome. We have a packed agenda tonight, so I hope you have some patience, and I think we could get out of here by about 1 in the morning, maybe 2, after last call for alcohol. So next up, we have public safety, first responder reports. We'll begin with Honolulu Fire Department Duty Officer. Welcome.
Evening. Michael Hahn, the captain at ʻEwa Beach Fire Station. Okay, our stats for June of 2025. We had 1 nuisance fire, which is basically like a rubbish fire. 7 activated alarms with no fire. We went to 199 medical alarms, 1 motor vehicle collision versus a pedestrian, 1 motor vehicle crash or collision, and 4 hazardous material incidents. All right, so our July 2025 fire safety tip, wildland fire awareness, prevention, and preparedness. Lighten the load, reduce the risk of ignition by maintaining your yard and cleaning your gutters to remove fuel. Clear, cool, and contain clear vegetation 10 feet around campfires and barbecues. Keep a shovel nearby and water nearby, and ensure fires are completely extinguished before leaving. Watch the spark, ensure machinery like chainsaws and weed trimmers and recreational vehicles with operating spark arresters are maintained regularly. And for more information, you can visit the HFD website at fire.honolulu.gov, Department of Emergency Management, or the Hawaii Wildland Management Organization.
Mahalo. Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none in the physical meeting space. Any questions from members of the board online? Seeing none? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy your, sorry. Questions from members of the community? Okay, thank you, sir. Moving on to Honolulu Police Department.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, board members, members of the community. Corporal Pagan with the Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing. With me online should be Lieutenant Carrera as well as Sergeant Fumi Moroka. I do have your stats for June. In June, we had 11 motor vehicle thefts, 3 in our area, 13 burglaries, 5 in our area, 89 thefts, 12 in our area, 25 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 3 in our area. We issued a total of 1,127 citations. There was a total of 8,283 calls for service and 2,264 in our area. That's all I have. I'm open for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? John Rogers, you sure? Seeing none, questions from members of the board online? Seeing none. Questions from members of the community?
Too easy.
Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. I just have one comment, and I'll try to be quick. Just a note of thanks and gratitude. My wife and I walk around the neighborhood sometimes, and sometimes we see cars that consistently park in front of a fire hydrant, and I'm reluctant to say or do anything about it, but I mean, it's a law and it can mean something. So we've called the non-emergency number, and they tell us to call 911, which is kind of surprising to me. But when we have called, they've sent someone out to ticket.
Great.
So, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Moving on to have a wait and see.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, board members, members of the community. Corporal Pagan, Honolulu Police Department, we deceive. The only thing I wanted to mention is that we're on the last week of our culinary class, James Campbell High School culinary class. We have 25 students. I want to specifically thank Mr. Greenland, Principal John Henry Lee, and the ʻEwa Makai counselors. About a week before the classes were supposed to start, we had about 6 students. We reached out to them to let them know that we may have to cancel because of that, and we landed up getting like 30 people come in. So we're a little bit larger than we expected and wanted to, but we squeezed everybody in since we got everybody in there. We're on our last week. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. Excellent program. Questions or comments from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Seeing none. Questions from members of the board online? Seeing none. Board Member Tananis.
Corporal Pagan,
Yes, sir.
what was that award you got? Could you please announce it to our community, please?
Please, tell us.
I was honored as the Honolulu Police Department's Corporal of the Year for 2025.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well deserved, sir. Well deserved. Thank you for your support and your Malama. Appreciate you. Okay, moving on to election of officers. At the beginning of every new term, the board discusses among ourselves. This is for the benefit of the community I'm explaining, and we elect new officers. Everyone from the chair, one or more vice chairs. I think we can have up to 2 vice chairs or more if we want. Secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. So we will open up for nominations for chair.
Chair, I'd like to nominate you, John Clark. I think you did a good job last year, and you're keeping control of the meetings, and I think you deserve another year. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate. I think both you and Mitch have done fantastic jobs over the last several years since I've been here, and I nominate him as well. I'm curious to see. I'd love to hear words from both of you on why you want to be chair.
Any other nominations? Okay. How shall we proceed? This is our trusted neighborhood assistant, Mr. Jeffrey Jones.
Thank you, Alex, for that nomination. I guess I was chair for the last 6 years, maybe, prior to John being chair last year. Been on the board for over 15 years. Lived in Ewa Beach my whole life. Again, we as a board need to come together and support the community. No matter who's chair, vice chair, doesn't matter. We're gonna do what we gotta do. I'm still gonna be here. John's still gonna be here, and we all still be here. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
I echo those sentiments from Board Member Mitch Tananis. I've been on the board over 10 years. Education is my passion, but each of us have served in each of the respective areas. We try to keep it fair, keep it honest, keep it light and respectful. Sometimes it does get to be a challenge, depending on the mood and the nature of the community. But we've gotten a lot of stuff done, not just during Mitch's tenure, my tenure, but even before that. So what Mitch said about us coming together, it's absolutely true. So for the new board members, sometimes it may seem a little, when dialoguing starts, we may get a little stern, but it's also that we can keep it moving so that we don't stay too late. Thank you for the nomination, John. I appreciate it. Thank you for the sentiments.
Okay, so just for some groundskeeping for that, they both, of course, just share what they wanted to share. I'm going to go down the list that I have for a roll call vote. The nominee has to receive the quorum vote of 6 amongst the board. We'll go through twice. If the first time around one person does not get 6 votes, and then once we go around for a second time, if you wish, we can do a third, and if not, we can move on to the next officer position, and from there, whoever's lined up next will run the meeting from then on out. And I'm gonna go down the list that I have here. Board Member Pata. You can say either Tynanez or Clark to vote. Tynanez is the blue and Clark is the green, blue, and white polo button down. One more time. Board Member Plowman online.
Tough choice. I suppose we'll continue with John Clark for now, from me.
Okay. Board Member Valerio online. If you could please unmute. If not, I'll circle back around. Going once, twice. All right. Board Member Gauss. Board Member Borgia. Board Member Borgia. Please apologize if I apologize if I butcher your last name.
No, that was
So sorry.
good. Tananis.
Member Gorman Chang. Espino. Excuse me, one more time. Gotcha. Rogers.
Clark.
We'll go one more time to Board Member Valerio online. You could please unmute to cast your vote.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you good. Are you voting for Board Member Clark or Board Member Tynanez?
Clark.
Thank you. Clark.
Clark.
And Tynanez. All right, so it's an even split, both 5 and 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a second roll call vote. And if no person is selected, we'll go to vice chair, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to go through one more roll call vote for the chair. If it's another even split and there's no chair selected, we'll go to vice chair. And whatever officer is voted on will proceed with the remainder of leading the meeting. So if there's no chair and a vice chair is voted, the vice chair will run the remainder of the meeting. And again, I apologize if I butcher your last name. If you can, please correct me for next time. Board Member Pata. Pata, gotcha. Okay. Board Member Plowman online.
Okay, I'll try Tynan.
Board Member Valerio online.
Clark.
Board Member Gauss.
Hernandez.
Board Member Borgia.
Clark.
Board Member Gorman Chang. Board Member Espino. Board Member Rogers.
Clark.
Board Member Clark.
Clark.
And Board Member Tynenis. Again, that's another even split. If you want, we can do a third roll call vote. It is totally up to you. It's another even split. You want to do a third roll call vote, or do you want to just move to vice chair?
I got a
Yes, sir.
So how does the chair get chosen if we skip here now and the vice chair runs the meeting?
Since there's not an elected chair, it'll be advertised at the next meeting for a board member to be voted and nominated for chair. Is everybody on the same page with that? Okay, we'll do a third roll call
Understood.
vote. Third time's the charm. We'll do it one more time. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go down please say the last name of the person you'd like to be chair. Marapata. Board Member Plowman online.
See, I can't hear what other people are saying, but let's say Clark again.
Board Member Valerio online.
Clark.
Board Member Gauss.
Hernandez.
Board Member Borgia.
Clark.
Board Member Gorman Chang. Board Member Espino. Board Member Rogers.
Clark.
Board Member Clark.
Clark.
And Board Member Tynenis. It's another even split down the middle. So we can go ahead and go to the vice chair. At this very second, John Clark is still classified as chair pro tem, so he will lead the vote, and we will have nominees to fill the vice chair position.
We now accept the nominations for vice chair. We have a nomination for Mr. Gauss from Board Member Tynenis,
Seconded.
second by Mr. Plowman. There can be two vice chairs, but we don't have to have two vice chairs. Do we want to roll back to one vice chair as we did previously? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote for,
Okay, so the same thing. You can go ahead and say Gauss if you wish him to fill the spot. If you don't, you can just stay silent. Board Member Pata. Gauss. Plowman online.
Gauss.
Valerio.
Gauss.
Borgia. Gorman Chang. Espino. Rogers.
Gauss.
Tynenis. And Clark. Okay, with that, it is unanimous amongst Gauss to vote. With that, it is unanimous 10 votes for Board Member Gauss to be the vice chair. He will be chairing the remainder of the meeting. So from filling the secretary to the adjournment of the meeting, Board Member Gauss will be running the meeting from here on out. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Jeffrey. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and move on to need the paddle here. Okay, so I think, and I'm not, this is my first go at this, so if you need to correct me, Jeffrey, feel free to step in and do so. So I think we're going to move on to secretary. So I'll open it for nominations for secretary. Go ahead, Mitt. Okay, Susan. I'm sorry?
You
Can you use the microphone?
decline. Yeah. You decline. Okay.
I decline.
Okay, so, Chairperson Gorman is declining the nomination for secretary. Any other nominations?
Bernadette, you want to be the secretary?
It's fairly minimal, it's a fairly minimal role.
If there's no nominations, we can move to the next.
Okay,
position.
thank
We can
you,
advertise
Jeffrey.
the next.
All right, we're gonna move on since there's no nominations unless John wants to be secretary. Okay, I'll nominate John to be secretary. Okay, can we have everyone, we'll have votes on, well, do we need a vote? If he's the only nominee?
He's the only nominee. We can do a vote if you want. We can do a quick voice vote.
Yeah, let's do a quick.
time.
Anyone in opposition, please speak up. If not, we'll accept John. Okay, accepting John. All right. Treasurer, any nominees for treasurer? There's usually a couple $100 spent a year, I believe, on mailing and stuff like that. No, you have an interest? No, nothing in there? Espino? I'll nominate Espino. Okay, Espino has accepted the nomination. Is there anyone in contra of that? Okay, he's elected as the treasurer. Thank you. Sergeant of Arms, which I have no idea what that is. Oh, for the treasurer, I just asked for anyone to speak up
If
against it.
there's any objections or abstentions.
Yeah, any objections or abstentions to Espino? Online? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Sergeant at Arms, any nominees? I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to nominate for that. Okay. Is it,
It's-
Jeffrey, can you explain that?
I can explain. So it's something that not every board has. It's totally up to the board, but it's one who enforces the rules of speaking. So it's the timekeeper. Once the timer goes off, they can advise the chair to wrap up the conversation. If the meeting gets out of hand, they can help the chair call the meeting to order. But again, it's totally up to the board if you want to have it. It's more of a formality for it to be on the agenda.
Thank you for that. Can I have a question? If you're nominated and you're elected to one of the roles, does that exclude you from another one?
That's a great question. I don't.
So, because I would nominate the vice chair, because that's how it worked in this
If-
board before.
If the board
timekeeper.
doesn't want to necessarily have a sergeant at arms, the vice chair can just can serve as it. Yeah.
Everyone okay with that? I don't know. Okay, we'll move forward with that then. Thank you. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, then we're good to move on to number 4 here with board administration and planning, correct?
Yes.
All right. So we'll start with the determination of meeting date, time, and location. So I think it's pretty obvious. We're gonna stick with this location, and I would recommend we stay with the same time and the same date, which is the second Thursday of every month. Any
Second that?
abstentions or votes against that? Okay, we'll go ahead and move forward with that. You can slow me if you need to, Jeffrey. Just let me know. Determination of recess schedule. So up to 3 per year. And I think we've traditionally done June and December. Are people okay with that board meeting schedule online? Any thoughts on if we should change that? And
Board member Gauss, I was about to correct you. It's May
okay,
because the library's typically closed for testing for the school year.
so last year we did June, but it's typically May. Is that right? Okay. Or this year we did June.
2-year board session.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Can I ask if anyone from the community has any thoughts on that, or is this strictly a board matter? Yeah, I'm just curious if anyone in the audience has thoughts on having a couple of breaks each year. If not, then we'll move forward with that. Sound good? Any objections or abstentions? May and December will be the months of recess. Okay, moving on to C here, adoption of oral testimony rules. So I believe that, can you clarify what those currently are, Jeff?
So the current rules of speaking, excuse me, unless identified, is 3 minutes for reports, 10 minutes for presentations, and 1 minute per 1 minute, one turn per person for anybody providing testimony. And for this, the board can choose to keep it the same, or if anybody has suggestions to either increase it or decrease the time, it's totally up to the board.
And that is 1 minute per person per subject theme, correct? Per turn.
So for example, for residents' community concerns, they have a minute to share. If it's a follow-up question for a presenter, they have a minute to ask their question, and that's kind of where the 1 minute is. And it's
So-
1 minute, one turn per person.
Thank you for that. And I just want to clarify that as the chair, myself right now, or the vice chair, or whoever's leading the meeting has the opportunity to give people more time to speak. It's just if we need to cut a short conversation short, it basically gives us that opportunity to do that. People are going off the rails, so I just wanted to clarify that.
We have Plowman online.
Yeah, Plowman, go ahead.
Well, we've recently changed from 2 minutes and 2 minutes to 3 minutes and 1 minute. Previously, it was always 2 minutes, 2 minutes. We had some time issues. We had some probably inappropriate filibusters, but it just seems intrinsically, philosophically, not right for the people's forum here, the community's forum, to have a 1-to-3 ratio from the government. And maybe we could get the government reports down to 2 minutes and then have the people be able to have up to 2 minutes again. And, if we have people that are problems with filibustering, we could talk to them and cut them off as well. So I think it was better when we had 2 minutes and 2 minutes, just my opinion. Happy to go along with what the board decides.
Thank you, Plowman. Want to have thoughts on that?
I do. Who has 3 minutes?
3 minutes are for the presentations of all the representatives and the different agencies and whatnot that show up to give reports.
I kind of like Mike's idea of 2 and 2. Oh, okay. I move that government 2 and 2. The community has 2 minutes and the government representatives have 2 minutes as opposed to 1 and 3.
Okay, can I? we got a
Okay.
second?
I will second that.
No, take a vote.
You can do a voice vote.
Okay, well, we want to do a vote on that, or do we have any objections, or is anyone? I think it's a good move. I support it as well. Thank you, Plowman and Gorman. So let's go ahead and accept those changes. All right, moving on here to designation of board committees and committee chairs. So we have, let's see, our list of chairs here, right here. So I'm just going to go down the line right here. Currently it's Parks. We have myself and John Rogers. Do we want to stick with that? Does anyone else want to join the Parks Committee? Okay, then we'll stick with those then. I'm just gonna, I move right along here. So people have things to speak up, please. Education. I believe that's Chairperson Clark.
People, and then if the news guys want to jump on, they can be cool. Well, on any of these.
Good idea.
Okay, I like that. All right, so we have these lists. That's a really good, thank you, Mitch, for those listening online. It was just made the suggestion to keep all the current chairs on the different committees. And if any of the new board members want to jump on those, they can raise their hands and recommend that or nominate themselves for those chairs, for those committees. The one thing I do want to look at is if did anyone not get revoted that was on these, but maybe you guys can help me with that while we're looking there. So did any of the new board members, either here in person or online, are you interested in joining one of these committees?
Yeah.
Well, great. Good. So go ahead, grab the mic and then just say what your interest is.
I'm interested in joining the education one.
So he's in Noah, right? Which guy?
No.
Woja is interested in the education, okay? Then I see,
Also education as well.
okay. Yeah, okay. The more the merrier. Bernadette on there. Any other, do we have new members online? Or is everyone?
Just one, Charmaine.
Okay. Charmaine?
Charmaine, yeah.
Charmaine, are you interested in being on any of these committees?
Education?
Oh. Spread out.
Before we come to that, not everybody. Yeah.
All right.
That we're talking about. It's like, community can join. That's short, what would be. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, thank you. Do I refer to you as board member Clark right now? I have no idea. So John Clark, so he just asked me to clarify that, to make sure that everyone in the audience here and that's listening online, that you know that these committees, first of all, they have to be organized by the committee chairs, and for the new people, you have to have an agenda in a week ahead of time to Jeffrey and a room allocated. And then anyone from the audience or from the public can participate in those meetings, right? It's open to the public. And so I just wanted to clarify that. And if there are any further questions, John and I do them quite often for both the Transportation Committee and the Parks Committee, and we're happy to facilitate information. And Jeffrey, obviously,
I have something to add to that.
go ahead, Jeffrey.
For those that are the newer board members as well as the longstanding board members, if you do have a location in mind that you need help permitting for a committee meeting, please give myself ample time. So we give our current chairs and co-chairs 3 weeks to get a location set up, just to give a little bit of wiggle room for the permitting. I know in the past, and this is just for the parks with board member Gauss, board member Rogers, they've had a long-standing location, so it's a lot easier to have it permitted versus a newer location. It may take some time. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that.
And thank you. Can you clarify as well, is this library available for those meetings?
The library is available. The library is available to hold committee meetings. It just depends on their schedule. So I don't know what type of events or school things they have going on here. So it depends on their availability, but this is available if days are open, of course.
And is there a charge for that?
Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely too sure, but I can clarify that and send an email to the board members.
Just trying to give the treasurer something to do, so. All right. Okay, I think we're good then there with committees. Go ahead, Espino.
I'll join transportation.
Okay, Espino's gonna join transportation. Yeah. Anyone else? All right, moving on. Wait, I was looking at the announcements on the wrong page there. We're not wrapping up yet. Hold on. Okay. So approval of regular meeting minutes from Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Huh? Oh, we didn't have one last.
Any
That's all right.
objections or
Okay, thank you.
corrections? If not, they're approved.
Oh, there's no corrections to it. Some we didn't have. We didn't hold a meeting, so. Any objections or abstentions to? Oh, to the May meeting. Okay, I got you. Sorry. I'm out of it. I need more copy. All right. I told you, I'm giving it a rough run here, folks. Bear with me. All right. So now we're moving on. Discussion of the proposed Kaleloa dirt race track.
Can you put
Okay, Roger.
Jeffrey, can you put up what is the DPR announcement for the racetrack? I guess I'll work on this. I asked to have this on the agenda a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, the mayor at one of his town halls and the director for Parks and Recreation announced that they're gonna put up a racetrack. Are you trying to get it up? They want to build a mud racetrack on one of the lots of Kalaloa Parklands, the Kalaloa Parklands, and it's the one lot. If you scroll up or scroll down, yeah, he's keep on scrolling. There's a map on that. You can't really, yeah. So the one plot that's, yeah, I'll just go up there. Yeah. So this plot right here, 13060 is right there. So yeah, right there, it's that lot right there they're gonna build. And right above that lot is rental housing. And it's the Old Navy rental housing that's now public rental housing. And so I just saw that and I go, does anyone thinking about having a dirt racetrack so close to where people live? And then also, I had lots of questions that I've asked the city. Hopefully, we get answers of like, there's going to be environmental assessments, whether, what are the rules going to be? When are they going to operate the track? What's the hours of operation? Where are cars going to park when they go to the track? A long time ago, there was 2000. I wrote it down somewhere. There was a racetrack back in the day on DHHL land, and it wasn't. They actually got kicked off the land because of issues with payments and all that. It just didn't go well over there, and so I really think the Parks Department has jumped the gun without talking to the community first. They should have came to us and said, "We're going to put a racetrack here. How do you feel about that?" And these are the rules. This is how it's going to work. Here's the environmental assessment, all the stuff that goes with it. And none of that has happened with this. They just said at a meeting, they're going to do it and they're going to have it installed by 2026. By the middle of 2026, they're going to have this done. So I want to bring this to the community to say, well, what do you folks think about it? And so there we go. That's my.
Great. Thanks for that, John Rogers. First, I'll ask for any comments from board members in the meeting room.
Yeah, I agree. I would be concerned about the having an environmental assessment and then also about the potential noise for the people living in that area.
Thank you. Chairperson Gorman. Any other chair members or committee members want to speak on that?
Just to clarify, Board Member Gauss, this is, or Vice Chair Gauss, the board administration and planning is just for the board to have an open discussion and make a decision to either support, not support, or just give the community notice if it's more of like a notice or a notification kind of a announcement. This isn't really for a session for open dialogue. I just wanted to clarify that.
So that question I just asked you about opening up the community, the answer is no.
Yes.
And then they can voice in the community concerns section.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
So John, this area where you're talking about in Kalailoa, I know HCDA has own a lot of property there. You got HCDA, DHHL, you got Hunt. Is that a city property?
Yeah,
It's all city?
So that is part of the new Kalaloa Parklands. It's one of the lots. So everything in green that you see up there, that's Kalaloa. That's the new Parklands. And even the bottom, that's the new, what's going to be the beach. Actually, there's $500,000 right now in the budget to fix the bathroom so they can open up the campgrounds. But anyway, yeah, so all that green is Parklands. What they intend to do is what they've said they intend to do is build a dirt lot at that one lot I showed you. And then later on in the master plan, they're going to develop a master plan. And in that master plan, they're going to plan on building an actual asphalt track in the larger section of land to the right of that little section I showed you. So
all right.
That's the plan.
Thank you, Clark. So as a board conversation, has there been any discussion or maybe, and I'm looking forward to hearing community take on this, but what about putting it further south? So it's further away from the housing. Is that an option or?
That's not the option they presented with so I don't know what the option is. The city said on that lot and that announcement right there, that's on the Parks and Recreation page of their website, says on that lot we're going to put a dirt racetrack. So that's all I can tell you. So yeah, the whole idea is to communicate with the Parks Department on what we want, and they should be asking us what we want.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point, is that we weren't consulted at all on this, and so it would definitely be, at the very least, you'd think that they would show up here at the board. Go ahead.
Yeah, the primary concern that I have, and you hit I think the edges of it, Vice Chair Gauss, is the community wasn't notified. I mean, there's one thing to bring it to the neighborhood board, and we have our discussion here But we've actually made real changes at this neighborhood board. We've gotten a lot of stuff done, moved something a little bit to the left, a little to the right. I remember several years ago, Councilmember Minor wanted to, some of the city planners wanted to make Kalawaka just 2 lanes. And they weren't going to change the lights on Fort Weaver Road or Kapolei Parkway. And we went round and round, and they said there had been deaths on Kalawaka. And so Councilmember Minor said, okay, whatever the Evan Neighborhood Board says, that's what we're going to do. Well, we began to ask for data. How many people actually have been in accidents or killed on Kalawaka? Over a 10-year period, it was 1 accident, and I think it was a motorcycle accident. So the data didn't support doing something like that. But the point is, we had a lot of discussion at this meeting. Can you imagine if they would have closed down 2 lanes on Kalawaka?
Yeah.
What it'd be like to get out of here or come back? It just wow. So the same thing I felt this way. I mean,
Definitely.
there's communities not only in that immediate area, but if you put a racetrack there, there's going to be people from all over the island come here, and maybe even some of the other islands.
Well, so me personally, I haven't had a lot of discussions with people in the community about this. So that's the biggest problem for me is I feel, echoing what multiple people have said here, is that we need to have that conversation and have the community speak up. And I'm sure we're going to hear some of it today, but I agree. So I think, I don't know, as a board, if we're like, we're not officially voicing an opinion on the thing here. I'm not super clear on what we're actually doing at this, in this session right here. We're just having a discussion about it and then appointing it as something that we need to be having more discussions in the future, or what's the goal here?
My point, bringing this up is just to talk amongst the board, make sure that everyone in the board knows that this is a possibility, that because the Parks Department just put out a notice, they don't really notify everyone. And I wanted to let the community know that this is an issue. So if they care, they can either contact the director of Parks and Recreation or tell us today how they feel, so we can understand if it's community is way against it, maybe we write a resolution. If they're totally for it, then maybe we just keep quiet and let it happen.
Yeah.
So
Let me add one more thing, John.
Go ahead.
So the point of us really having the discussion here is we're not supposed to discuss it among ourselves outside of this forum in accordance with Sunshine Law. So to be totally transparent for the community here, so I mean, like you said, John, some people may support it, Alex, some people may not support it, but the important thing is to bring it to the community, bring it to the board so that the community can talk about it. Now, we know how some of these things go. They just get steamrolled. They're going to do what they're going to do one way or the other. But at least we have on our record whether or not the majority of the community supports or may not support. And some of the idiosyncrasies, some of the smaller, what some people may consider manini to somebody is a big deal to other people.
Yeah. And so I don't want to spend too much time on this. I do want to say that, when I first hear about this, John Rogers and I had some communication where he sent me something and I waited for today, but I'm not necessarily against it or for it because I don't know the facts. And so I think that's part of the problem, is that I think a racetrack's good, but now hearing it's going to be right next to community, that is an issue. And so definitely, I think it's something that we need to continue hearing about. So with that, let's just go ahead and move on, unless anyone else has something urgent to say. Oh, Mike, sorry, go ahead.
No, just real quick. I don't know how many folks remember when there was a racetrack at Campbell, and it was a hoot. It was a great time. Those races were fun. And, but I will say that racetrack was loud. And for a while, I was living in Nanakuli, and you could hear it from Nanakuli. And I want to say when I lived on Eva Beach Road in the mid-'80s, we could hear it there too. Not so much that it was a disturbance, but I tell you what, if you're living within hundreds of yards or within a quarter of a mile or so of that racetrack, it's loud. It's
okay.
You definitely got to talk about it. Because
thank you, Blavin. I appreciate that insight. Nanakula is pretty far. That's really good. All right, moving on. Discussion on proposed leashed dog parks in the community. Is this John again? All right, have at it.
So can you put up the Parks Department? So the Parks Department again has, committee, Parks Committee, they have put an announcement out that they want to increase the amount of dog parks, leashed dog parks, where they allow leashed dog parks. So if you look at, we have 10 city parks in Eva. and only one of our city parks allow dogs to even be in the park. Is, of course, it's got to be leashed, and that's Eva Beach Community Park, right close to across the street from here. So all our other 9 other parks, you're not allowed to bring a dog, and you could get, you know, kicked out of the park. You could get a citation. I don't think people have, but it's possible, right? And especially if someone complained. So the Parks Department, the director put out an ask for all the neighborhood boards to put in the recommendations of which parks they would like to see leash dogs. And I'm even taking it a step further, because they also, at certain parks, allows people to train dogs. So that means the dog would be off a leash and under a training program. And, you know, Blaisdell Community Park is one of the parks in Pearl City that allows people to take, you know, trainers to actually go in the park and train dogs how to act normal. So can you put up the spreadsheet now, or the, so, because some dogs don't act normal. So I am making a proposal to the board, and I gave you guys all copies, and this is just a discussion right now. I'm hoping next month you guys can come and through emails, say whether you want to do this. Basically, I just made an open, I say every park should allow dogs on a leash, every park. The only, what's could be controversial is beach parks because of monk seals. I don't, ʻEwa, well, because they attacked the monk seals. That anyway, a monk seal just was attacked somewhere by a monk, by a dog, but unleashed dog. But so I think and so that's my recommendation, and I'm gonna ask you guys next week. We'll ask for a vote to say, what do you guys feel, if you think a certain park shouldn't have dogs, or there's, you know, whatever, we can make that determination so that we can then present to the Department of Recreations, the director, Laura Thielen, this, our
Excellent.
spreadsheet.
Thank you, John, for
Yeah.
putting that's, appreciate that effort. Do anyone on the board have comments? Online?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Did you have a comment online, someone? Okay. Thank you, John, for that. All right, moving on. Discussion, consideration of resolution, a working group established by Hawaii State Legislator HCR 28, led at Marine Corps Range. Yep. Plowman?
Okay, as promised at the last meeting, as a result of discussion at the Military Affairs Committee meeting we had a couple of months ago, we came up with a resolution, and the resolution is calling on Marine Corps Base Hawaii and the Hawaii Department of Health to conduct comprehensive lead and antimony testing in and around the Pu'uloa Range Training Facility to evaluate potential impact to the public. And essentially what this resolution does is 3 basic things. It asks the Marine Corps to do more comprehensive testing in the places that make sense. It calls on the Hawaii Department of Health to do comprehensive testing in the places where it makes sense. And it supports the working group that House District 40 is continuing. That's essentially it. And that is all backed by the paragraphs, the supporting paragraphs prior to those finally resolved. So however you'd like to proceed, Chair. I can read the thing, or
He's asking if he should read.
So I think, so Jeff, I'll look for guidance on this. I think my understanding, I think we read it. The problem is that it's fairly long. I think that what we need to do is put it on the agenda for next month, and then we can officially vote on it. Does that sound right, Jeffrey? Is that Plowman, and just in the sake of time, just because good to you? And we put it, we put it on the agenda next month, and we actually read through it and vote on it, because no one here has actually seen it. I guess if you want to do the rapid read through, you can do it.
I can. Well, mailed it out this afternoon. I just wonder about the mechanics of it's on the agenda. So how do we I can read through it pretty quick. It's a lot shorter than. we
Again,
started
excuse
out
me,
with.
everyone, for being, in this role. I'm not clear on the rules. So this was put on the agenda for vote as a resolution, or how was this put on the agenda, Jeffrey?
Okay, so when it on there for discussion and consideration of the resolution, the board can choose to take a vote. I'm unaware if did all the board members receive a copy of the resolution? If they can nod or shake their heads, yes or no. Okay, so there are a few board members, board member Plowman, that did not receive the resolution. So just out of sake of fairness, for the board members, as well as having it posted on the community Google Drive, it is up for consideration to vote, but I do think since some have not seen it, let alone know the contents of it, I do think pushing it to next month's agenda for a formal vote, and the community can have access to the resolution as well in the Google Drive, I think that would be best.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And I agree. I think you made some really good points, Plowman. I'm in support of the idea to make sure that comprehensive testing is happening so that we actually know if it's an issue or not, right? And so let's add that to the agenda for next month.
That's all cool. I would ask that the email list on the neighborhood board website be updated so everybody's on there.
Agreed.
Do we have to move and vote to move it up to next month?
I don't think so. I think we're just moving on. It's just for discussion here. So because of the context and the lack of sharing with some of the new board members, let's just move on, and I'm officially saying it's going to be on the agenda for next month. I don't know if I can do that. I think as the temporary chair, I have that privilege.
Board member Gauss, just to clarify for next month, since there is no official chair, you will be responsible for the agenda for next month. So that is perfectly fine.
It's going to be on there then. Okay, thank you for that clarification. And thanks everyone for bearing with me. It's not a joke. It's just I've never done this. So appreciate the patience. All right, consideration to support the new Moy Limu aquaculture proposal by our friend Neil here. Do you want to step up, Neil, and give some words? Again, I'm winging it here, so we're just winging it together.
Oh, that's true. One of the reasons board, they haven't heard about this, whether we're going to support.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'll restate that.
Yeah.
So the reason why this is on the agenda in this way is because we have several new board members. So this is something for the community as well as the new board members, which we talked about in depth at probably the last 4 or 5, if not more, board meetings. We have a commercial organization that wants to support other neighborhood board, which, as we talked about earlier, which is what we want them to do, is to come to at least brief the board or the community via the board. However, this discussion went along quite a while because as board member Gauss and I began to ask the organization or the person representing the organization more questions, we didn't really feel like it was fully fleshed out, the full concept. We had some additional questions, but the bottom line is the commercial entity wants to support other neighborhood board. I'm personally, I'm not so sure that we should get into the realm of supporting commercial entities because it can get really thorny, but I didn't want to suppress the discussion. So that's what the discussion is about, is whether or not we will support the commercial item.
thank you, Clark. Again, just I just asked Neil to be up here. So is that not something, because there are new board members, I'm assuming you guys don't know what we're talking about really? So can I ask him to give a minute or two?
Yeah, so he can give a brief overview of the proposal one if he wants to, or just the organization in general, to kind of help the newer board members understand what's going on.
Yep.
But since the board is comprised majority of longstanding board members who have heard the proposal,
Yeah.
there can still be a consideration and vote if the board wishes to, because the amount of board members who are still longstanding meet the quorum number.
So my recommendation, Neil, I'd like to have you give a couple words, maybe just what I would recommend is a super quick summary for the new people. And then maybe what you're doing for the ones that of us are here, what are you doing here? And thank you for showing up. What are you doing at this meeting versus the previous ones?
Thank you very much, Chair, and aloha kako. So I'm Neil Anthony Sims. Been involved in offshore aquaculture development in Hawaii for over 20 years. I was one of the founders of the offshore fish farm that's down in Kona that's producing the Hawaiian kampachi. And I watched the moi farm that was operating out here off Ewa Beach for the whole time from 1999 through to 2013. I thought that was a great project, but then it went away and never came back. We would like to restart that operation and be doing moi and nanue and kampachi and limu. Where at the moment we're selling limu commercially from land-based operation in Kona. It's a very expensive way to grow limu. And we also think the whole world needs more great tasting seafood. We've drafted the environmental assessment and I've shared that previously with the board, all 80 pages of it with appendices, another 150 pages or so. So there's a lot of information there. In our discussion with the State Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, the folk who start the public review process, they have asked for, is there an indication of support from the neighbourhood board? So there's still, after this, just an indication of general support, there's still the whole public hearing process and public comment process to go through as part of the environmental review, the environmental assessment review. And then it comes to the land board, and then it also goes through Army Corps of Engineers, and it goes through coastal zone management. There's going to be another 2 or 3 years of community discussions around this. But this initial expression of general broad support for the concept from the neighbourhood board would be, it's needed to be able to allow us to get to the next step.
Okay, and so I think, and I'll open it for comments from everyone, but I think that was a great resume. That's kind of what you also mentioned last time. So I'm trying to understand what is different this time than the last time you were here.
Last time I had drafted a resolution that I thought the board might support. And I think the reason at the time was that people hadn't had a chance to digest it. So I left it with the board. And then if that's still too wordy, I had drafted a more reduced version of that essentially just says we express support for the idea of an offshore aquaculture project in Ewa, and that we also, you would support the idea of us setting up a community advisory panel that we want to be at, because I'm not from here. So as we develop this project, we want to have ongoing community input, and we want to get have set up a community advisory panel. That would be very important for us.
So thanks for that. So I know that one of the questions that I had asked specifically was on the operation, like what does it actually look like? And so what, like what do you envision that? Where are the boats going to leave? That I specifically asked you at the last one, and I'm not hearing any. I'm not hearing any of that today, or like in anything that you sent us. I didn't see any of that. How come?
That's still to be determined. We would ideally like to work out of Barbers Point Harbour, but that's a very large commercial harbour, and we've got to get approval from Department of Harbours to do that. The other alternative would be to work out of Honolulu Harbour. We're also, there has been discussion with NOAA about Ford Island, possibly being able to base at Ford Island, but that's just very preliminary discussions, and Ford Island's really complicated.
And I guess so. I guess like board members, like that's where I struggle a little bit. It's like I just don't understand. And I like Neil, we get along, but I am a little concerned just because I don't know how that's going to work and how that is going to impact us as a community. I don't know if that's a valid concern or not, but that's my concern. What are people's thoughts on that?
My major concern is I still believe that we collectively, you, the community, the board, we're too early in the process to give you sort of a blessing or a stamp of approval. One of the major questions that I had, like board member or Vice Chair Gauss, was because you talked about leaving the Kalaloa area, but you couldn't really nail it down. So we had questions about how it would affect fishing traffic, boating traffic, and things like that. That what area would you launch from? And if you don't have that ironed out yet, I don't know that we can necessarily support that, because I love fish. I mean, I don't eat anything else except fish and poultry. So, the more fresh fish we can have here, I'm all over that. And especially if you get some samples or something like that. But I'm not saying that I don't supporting you. I just think it's way too early in the process because we don't have everything sort of ironed out yet.
Thank you. And I just want to voice on that too. Like I echo that, and So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can, because I know you said that you have to move forward, you need some type of support. Is there something where we can say, we are not ready, we want to help you move forward through the process, but we need to be consulted later on in the process?
Certainly. And there's going to be abundant opportunity for community input as we go through this. And if you'd like to just tack on a caveat onto the resolution that I've drafted that says, we would want you to come back to us as the plans are firmed up, as you're going through the state and the federal permitting process. As I say, there's still another 2 or 3 years. The reason why we haven't locked it down where in the harbour, because I don't want to have to go and start to pay harbour rent for a facility that I'm not going to be able to use for 2 or 3 years. And then even if we don't get through all the permitting, I won't be able to use it. So this is just the very first step to be able to get it to start the state review process.
I mean, I totally understand that. The problem is that you're asking for the board to give it its approval, and that's where we're struggling with it, I think, you know.
In very broad terms, the general approval for the idea of offshore aquaculture. And if you want to put something in there that says, please bring it back to us as you are moving through the process. What do you want, every 6 months for me to come back, every 3 months? Happy to do that.
So I think we could put something in there. My recommendation, but I'm curious to see if other people want to speak up, is that we say something along like that we support the advancement of the investigation of this project, right? I don't want to say that we like this project and then they're like, hey, the community already approved it, so it's good to go. And that's right. And so they give permits to run boats a kilometer offshore. I'm just making this up, but I just think we have to be a little bit careful. Any other board members have thoughts on that online or in the room? Go ahead.
Like they said, they're gonna restart the Moy cage out there. It's been what's going on from like what he said, from 1999 to 2013.
Yeah.
So 14 years. And I don't think anybody came from the Moy cage back then to, let us know about it. But I know I had a lot more Moy out at Bush for catch, but I'm just saying they all don't stay in the cage. As a fisherman, I don't mind. Yeah. So I'm thinking that he's here just to get the plan started. I understand where the hesitation is coming from the board, but personally, I think it's a good thing for the community, and I want to see what it might open. And as a board, it was still in the infancy stages where we can say yes or we can say no.
Yep.
But he needs the help to where they can start moving forward. That's what I'm thinking
Okay.
he's asking for.
Thanks, Tanaz. Appreciate it. Mike Plowman?
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to see a copy of that suggested language that Neil is referring to. And perhaps it's something, have you seen it, Chair? Or
Yeah, Vice Chair. Yes, I have. He sent it. He sent it around.
is there a way we can send
Yeah,
that to the
so
rest of the board?
I think, did we all receive that? Okay, well, we'll make sure. So I think that's what we should do. I like, Hernandez, I like your suggestion about, so I think what we should do is we should make the verbiage so that we're somehow saying that we approve for this to go forward without approving. So give us some time. We'll do that and we'll make it happen before the next meeting.
Thank you.
Board member or Vice Chair Gauss, since it's pretty much the same exact resolution, the board can elect to support the resolution with the proposed amendment of adding that verbiage. If you guys would like to take a vote to support the resolution now, or if you would like to see the verbiage first before making that, I just wanted to put that on the table.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, that resolution was shared, but we'll reshare it. And I'll make adjustments on it. And then I suggest that we put it up for a vote. I know next month.
This is a shortened resolution. He said it was just a paragraph versus a resolution. It was just a statement.
It was a page and a little bit. It just has a whole bunch of the whereases and then just two of the therefores.
Okay. So we'll work. We got to move on from this. So I'll work with you, Neil, and we'll figure something out to get to the board, and hopefully we can vote on it next month.
Marla.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
it all.
patience.
Thank you very much.
All right. Whew. All right. Thank you all for being patient here. So now we're moving on to presentations, early eviction mediation program. Online?
Not seeing the presenter.
No presenter is present. Okay. Well, that's how we'll keep advancing things. Okay, B, we're going on to the East Capolay Transit Oriented Development Plan. So much for that packed agenda. Well, all right, moving on. We can always come back if needed. The bus routes into Capelina.
Hi, yes, this is Kent with Department of Transportation Services.
Thank you, Kent.
Yeah, so let me share my screen real quick so I can show you our rider alert. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you all see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so this is the rider alert for Capelina. We have a brand new Route 421. It's effective Sunday, August 17th, 2025, just in time for school start. It will offer only 2 trips in one day. It'll be weekdays only, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The first bus will be in the early morning, 6:40 a.m. It will start at Capelina. They have a bus stop there that will pick up students or anyone else that's interested from Capelina. And it will go out on Iroquois Drive, make a left, and here's the map, as you can see. And it'll take them all the way to Campbell. Stop at Fort Weaver Road. The PM trip is similar, only it'll come back around 2 times and it'll head all the way back to Capelina. And that is at 4:48 p.m. So this is going to be a 9-month pilot basis. So we'll try this out and see how it goes. And yeah, we're looking forward to service the residents here in Capelina Beach Homes. Is there any other questions?
Thank you for thank you for that, Kent. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Glad to see that route coming around. I'm sure. Does anyone from the board have questions?
Just one question. Are you guys advertising to the Capelina residents in there?
Oh, yes, definitely. So we're talking to their management. We're gonna distribute these flyers and answer any questions that they may have. So we have a good, close relationship with the management at Capelina.
John?
Yeah, can you post that, your presentation, that sheet in the notes? And then Jeffrey, could you get that to the board members? Yeah, that would be great. Just because I'm blind and I'm having a hard time seeing it. And the other thing is, what time is the morning round? I missed that. The morning and afternoon.
Yeah, so the morning will be at 6:40 a.m. at Iroquois Drive and Gannett Avenue. And it will arrive at the bus stop, Eva Beach Transit Center at 6:51 a.m.
Okay,
And yes, this rider alert will be distributed. I did email the chair and our neighborhood assistant with this rider alert, so they can distribute. And I'll always email it to you, new chair.
Okay, thank you so much, John Clark.
Let's have a couple comments, a bit extended, maybe 1.5, 2 minutes. First one,
I might get you back for all those times you cut me off. Go ahead.
First one, I want to say thank you, Kent. Really appreciate this. I sent quite a few emails as chair. Some of them may have been a little more stern than they needed to be, but progress for the community. This is one of those things, again, where we can get stuff done when we really want to. We've been at this for a long time. We, the neighborhood board, as many of you may or may not know, bus service was stopped into Capelina Homes some time back, and we've been working to get it back into the mainstream for a couple different reasons: safety for our students. So we can get stuff done with the proper channels. The other thing, Ken, I'm not sure if you can talk about this, but can you talk about the new program that started up so that our middle school and elementary schools can ride the bus free? Can you talk about that?
That is something I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not my section. Sorry.
Okay. The reason why I think this is a good time to bring that up is because one of the major concerns we had when that bus service was stopped was the North Road route. Yeah, because people go through there, they race. It's very dark, and you know, you put a teenager into a car at night or in the early morning, especially if he's a teen boy, he's probably going to go a little bit over the speed limit. So getting this bus service back up and running is a major win. It's probably just the beginning. I see that it's a pilot program, but I believe it's a major win for our community. Thank you. Ken, appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
I agree. I agree with that. Great. Super happy to see that. And it is a pilot. So is there the possibility, Kent, that this could get extended to include more iterations of the route throughout the day, or is that under consideration?
So
Depending on
typically
ridership?
yes. So we look at the ridership. We're going to analyze how it goes in these 9 months. Typically, this is what we do before anything becomes permanent. If we see that it's very successful, there's a good ridership, we can expand it.
Okay, it sounds like we have one more question.
So how did you choose the times that you've selected for this route that you're doing temporarily?
Yes, so we look at the schools that typically where Capilina students would go to, Campbell, and we also considered like the school buses that they already have. So we try to be a different time from the school buses. That way everyone, like this is not just to service students, but also service residents. So we try to find the in between.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kent. Moving on.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, D, Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Going once. Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Okay, presentation, Red Hill Registry. Thank you. Please state your name and
Hi, aloha. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you for putting up our presentation. My name is Jolie Numasaki. I'm a community engagement specialist here at the Red Hill Registry. I also have Stephanie Wagner. She's going to be our referral manager here at the Red Hill Registry. So tonight, I would like to give a brief overview of the Red Hill Registry, and specifically the Red Hill water crisis, how that led to establishing the Red Hill Registry, and some of our work to date, such as our community engaged approach to identifying and addressing public health needs and concerns. I'm from Ewa Beach. I grew up here most of my life. My grandparents used to live down Old Fort Weaver Road, so I'm super excited to be here and like share what the registry is doing to help our community and those who might be in need. So if you can move on to the next slide. So to begin, let's orient ourselves to the region that we're going to be talking about today. Here is a satellite image of Oahu with that orange circle roughly depicting the area traditionally known as Kapukaki. It is here that an underground fuel storage facility was built during World War II. So during the 1920s, the military wanted to, they began to recognize the vulnerability of above ground fuel storage tanks. And during the 1930s, the concept of underground fuel storage tanks was born. Construction for this particular site, the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility, was done in complete secrecy. Nobody knew about it in the name of national security. So we're going to zoom in to the site. Here you can see the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage System, including 20 underground storage tanks called USTs. These are going to be marked with those red dots, and they're going to be drilled into the mountainside. So this facility holds up to 250 million gallons of fuel and chemicals. This is going to be the largest underground fuel storage facility in the DoD for the Pacific. This project had a budget of $6.25 million, which today is equivalent to about $135.5 million. So in this image, you're able to see where and how the 20 fuel tanks are situated both along the Moanalua and Waimalu aquifers. They're also situated to nearby drinking wells and shafts. If you would like flip this image to see where the tanks are situated, they sit a mere 100 feet above these aquifers. 100 feet. So here are illustrations of the Red Hill fuel tanks. The Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility contained this strategic fuel reserve for the whole Pacific Fleet. Just to give you a sense of scale, if you know the Makapu lighthouses, you can fit 5 of those lighthouses in these 250 feet tall tanks, and that contains about the whole height of the Statue of Liberty as well. So each of these tanks can hold 12.5 million gallons of fuel. These tanks were built with thick walls of concrete and a 1/4-inch steel liner. And if you think about that, that's steel only as wide as a quarter and erodes with exposure to these kind of chemicals encased in porous concrete, which shrinks and cracks over time. Despite the facility being considered an engineering marvel for its time, these tanks fail to act as an effective fuel barrier. According to declassified Navy records, the first spill was documented in October of 1947. In 2023, the EPA stated that the total amount released into the environment attributable to historic releases is currently unknown. The environmental and ultimately human health depends on the integrity of a quarter-inch, 80-year-old steel liner that cannot be protected from corrosion or properly maintained, repaired, or painted. So we're going to zoom back out a little bit in this next image. I wanted to point out some landmarks. So if you look at that red dot, that's going to be the Red Hill. Oh, thank you for that. That's going to be the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility. Those 3 blue dots are going to be the nearest water shafts or the wells closest to the fuel storage facility. They sit right beneath it. That yellow dot is going to be Red Hill Elementary School, and that's not the only school in this region. And that purple dot is going to be the Halava Correctional Facility. I just wanted to show this to give you guys a sense of how close this Red Hill fuel storage facility is to everything in the community. And right in the center of that is going to be Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. So if we look at this timeline, so now that you're more familiar with this facility, its background and purpose and location, we can talk about how this has impacted our island. If you think about the Navy water line, that is going to serve around 93,000 people. It contains 9,600 homes for residents, but there's people in that area who go there for work, for school, there's medical facilities, daycare centers, shopping centers. So we approximate that there's about 93,000 people who are affected by this water crisis. Like I said before, we don't know the exact number of spills and releases that have happened since it has been built, but this is just a snapshot of what we do know for the past 10 years. I'm not going to touch on everything on this slide, but I am going to jump to 2021. So in May of 2021, there was a fuel leak of about 19 to 20,000 gallons of fuel. This flowed into a sump, and automated pumps transferred the fuel into an overhead 14-inch PVC pipe in the facility where it remained. As of July of 2021, there was already petroleum detected in the Red Hill well. So on November 20th, 2021, a drain on that PVC pipe full of fuel was hit by a worker. This caused a rupture of the pipe and released approximately 14,000 gallons of fuel, or JP5, into the Red Hill facility, which then migrated approximately 80 feet down through fractured basalt, reaching the water table, and was drawn into the Red Hill shaft. This resulted in the water contamination crisis, potentially exposing those 93,000 individuals who live, work, and play in the area. In the area, I mean the Navy's public water line. So as you can see, there has been a continuance of fuel and chemical releases since 2021, as recent as last week. So if we move on to the next slide, this is going to be a picture of a heat map of the calls that were received on November 28th and 29th of 2021. So I just put this map up because I feel like it's important to show what led the state to believe that there's a problem localized to this area as opposed to a statewide issue. And it helped to identify that there's an issue specifically with the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam water system. So if we go on to this next slide, here you can see the clear boundaries of who gets the Navy's water. Of course, for our ʻEwa community, this is Kapolina Homes, the Iroquois Point area. Like I said, I just want to reiterate the 9,600 households and the 93,000 people who could have potentially consumed this contaminated water. Yeah, that's going to be specifically Kapolina Beach Homes and Iroquois Point in the bottom left corner. So what has been reported from the impacted individuals were health complaints that affected nearly every single organ system in the body. Through studies conducted by the ATSDR and the DOH, the most common symptoms were headaches, dry and itchy skin, and diarrhea, as well as mental health impacts. I'm not going to touch on every single system or every single health effect reported here, but I do want to mention that people did report symptoms in their pets too, which the registry is going to address. So because of all the reported health concerns after the water exposure, several groups have began to call for an independent health registry for individuals who are impacted by this Red Hill water crisis, including Congress members, CDC's Agency for Toxic Substances for Disease Registry, the Hawaii Department of Health, and the Defense Health Agency. So basically, last summer on June 20th, UH released news that we signed a 5-year cooperative agreement to establish the Red Hill Registry. UH received a total of $27.2 million dollar award to be given out over the course of 5 years. So I just want to note our funding structure. We are often asked who is paying for this registry. For the sake of transparency, essentially the funding is coming from the Department of Defense. They were held accountable and were tasked with addressing the infrastructure, environmental remediation, as well as human health consequences of the spill. With that being said, there's going to be several layers between the Department of Defense and UH where the registry is operating. The cooperative agreement is administered through the Henry M. Jackson Foundation, which is on behalf of the National Center for Disease Medicine and Public Health at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. So it's a little confusing, but basically the most important thing to note is that the Department of Defense is not concerned or they're not involved with the day-to-day operations of the registry. So this past year was the time for all the steps required.
Gotta wrap it up, okay?
Okay. The registry, so basically our mission is going to be co-designed with the community. We want the Red Hill Registry aims to track health outcomes and provide resources for those affected by the fuel spill. And we hope that the registry can be supported and informed by the Red Hill community. So I just really want to touch on the 3 main goals of the Red Hill Registry. First, one of the big things that we aim to do for the community itself is to provide services needed through a referral program. So this can be services such as health or social services, whatever the community needs. We are in the process of building a referral program. We also would like to provide educational programs to healthcare providers and community members to make sure that they are informed about what happened and how to move forward. Lastly, one of our goals is going to be to track participants' health status over time. This is going to be done through baseline questionnaires. So basically, this is just within the whole UH system, we have a lot of players working together with the Red Hill team to make this, And then basically, we are really, community engagement is really important to us. So this is like us coming out to the community, hearing what you guys have to say, informing you of what we're all doing here. And this is the most important thing that's coming up in the future. So we are going to be celebrating the launch of our registry. We have an event on August 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Moanalua High School. So the purpose of this event is going to be to bring the community together and really celebrate like what the work that the registry has been doing so far. We really want people to pre-enroll in our registry. People may ask like, why are you asking me these questions about my health? Like, why is this important? By gathering all of this information and coming together as a community, like we can work towards eliminating what we were all told during the water crisis, which is we don't know the long-term health effects of exposure to jet fuel. Okay, and I just want to say thank you so much for letting me speak here today to the board members as well as to the community. And if you have any questions, I put my information on the screen. You can ask myself or Stephanie Wagner, our referrals manager. Anything, yeah. And if you would like to pre-enroll, if you were an affected community member yourself, you can do so there or find us on our website, redhillregistry.org. We also have some merchandise and swag if you would like a tote bag or pen and paper.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Questions from the board? Physical experience? John?
Well, I'll let Susan.
Susan, go ahead.
She's smart.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you very much for coming here, giving this presentation. A lot of people didn't know that Capelina Beach Homes used to be Navy housing and that it's still in the Navy waterline and there's still people having issues. The Red Hill tanks have been defueled and they're cleaning them, but that doesn't mean the issue is over because jet fuel is sticky and it gets into pipes, and all of that infrastructure at these residences has not been replaced. So there are still medical issues going on, still people having issues with what's in their water. So I just want to really thank you for this and yeah, encourage people to go. I also have to point out that the Navy initially denied that this had happened. They denied that there was jet fuel in the water. They denied there was anything happened. There's a lot of gaslighting going on. So there is a lot of health issues, institutional, you know, these are people who give their life to the military, and yet they were poisoned by jet fuel. So there is a lot of even mental health issues with this. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
like
Susan.
you brought up the Capilina Beach Homes, like Stephanie Wagner was an affected community member from there, and like you said, like the Navy totally denied the what had happened to that community specifically.
Okay,
So
we'll,
thank
we'll
you.
move on to the next question, just so we're not going on and on.
So can you, thank you for that. It was a great presentation. Can you provide your presentation to the chair and then so that he can disperse it to all of us?
Yes, of course.
That would be great.
Email it to John today. Yeah, we emailed you the presentation earlier today.
So
you have
can we get that would be great. And then my second question, I kind of missed this or I don't know. So the registry, are you a nonprofit or are you a government agency? So
No, we're nonprofit and we're HIPAA compliant and we fall under University Health Partners, which is sister agency of University of Hawaii. So part of our team is hired under UH and part of our team is hired under UHP, but we're completely considered not-for-profit as UHP is, and we are, yeah, absolutely.
and so the money comes from the federal government.
So the
That's the
money originally came from DOD. It was essentially like they had to come clean and admit this happened. And this was what they were directed to give. But the way it's filtered down, they have no direct say with how we build the registry. It's completely independent. And that's why it's housed through UH, because UH is such a respected entity on this island. But they have no say in how we build our registry, govern our registry. It's completely, we have built from the beginning with the community, for the community, and every step of the way. We've had numerous focus groups, surveys. We make sure every step we take, the affected community is well aware and involved.
How long will the money last?
We're funded right now for 5 years. We hope, like any registry, you know, look at like the World Trade Center registry, they've been going for 24, 25 years. We hope to continue that because that's how you track long-term health impacts. We need to know well beyond 5 years what some of us may face medically. And so right now is what we're funded initially, but we certainly are going to continue to try to keep this as an ongoing registry for our community.
Excellent. Thank you both for the presentation.
Thank you so much for having us.
A motion.
Oh, you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. All right. So before that, any comments or questions from the community? Sorry. Okay, go ahead. You want to make a motion?
Vice Chair, I wanted to make a motion to add an item to the presentation part of the agenda.
Okay. Well, given that we did have a couple of cancellations, I don't know, do we have to vote on that or how does that work? What is it?
Before that, we are still on the questions for them. So let's take any last second questions just in case, and then we can go to his motion.
Okay. So how do I officially close off the presentation?
Or you could just ask if there's any final questions. If not,
I
we
thought
can
I
move
did
on.
that. Any other questions from the community? Or online? Okay, moving on.
So to add to the agenda, he needs to state the motion of what he wishes to add to the agenda. And in order for it to get added, it has to go through a 2/3 vote. But with the adding things to the agenda, just as in the rules,
Can't be major.
it cannot be a major impact to a significant number of people.
So what's the motion?
To add Holomua school traffic flow issues to the presentation agenda.
I mean, I don't think that. My recommendation was that we hear it. I think we have time. I do want to move on to community concerns pretty quick. So if we can make it, I don't know if it's impacting a huge number of people.
I'll give a recommendation just for that. It is impacting a significant number of people. One, the school community in itself with the students and the teachers, the parents, as well as the community that's just across from the school.
Okay.
What I recommend doing is there is a presentation involved with it. And I know that there is one representative, Ray Azota, is online and her office rep is here. If they wish to share the presentation, then they can, as far as their report, and they can just give a brief, hey, this is what we're doing with the school. That would work perfectly fine.
Okay, I would say that we move to do that. If there's community concerns next, they can always step up and speak for a couple of minutes at that time as well, so. Yeah, Mike, what is it? Because if not, we're
Well,
gonna.
we took something off the agenda. I'd say before we start adding other presentations and stuff on the agenda, we go back to what we had on the agenda, which was a resolution that would take me about a minute to read. And you want to put a whole nother presentation on there, I'm opposed.
Well, I didn't put a whole new presentation on there, and we were thinking about giving someone some words, but not a whole presentation. So I understand where you're coming from, obviously, Mike. Maybe if we're just going to keep moving on, though, I think. So in the question of time, given this is my first time in this role, I don't want to go too late. So we're just going to keep moving on. And I want to hear, so we're going to move on to residents and community concerns and community announcements. So if we have any, please step up to the mic, say your name and voice your concern.
Well, let me introduce myself, ʻEwa Beach board members. I'm the former president of the ʻEwa Beach Surf Club that was founded in 1986. I served for the ʻEwa Beach Surf Club in '62, so you know how old I am, okay? Okay, anyway, I'm coming back and trying to take back that beach. I couldn't believe what I seen. I surfed in the mornings, but what I seen that was going on at the Olino Beach Park, it has to stop. I personally called HPD, gave them my name, told them what was happening there. They did go down at the beach and try to clear it up. It's wild, unreal. When I formed the club in '86, we had a no tolerance for drugs. We had terrific members. We had 150 plus. That area there that I seen that they developed was nothing. Some of the guys know. I get one guy right here. He knows how that thing used to look. It was just Kiabi trees. Jeremy Harris, I went to four mayors that promised me a bathroom. Aseko, after the development, promised me a bathroom. Till today, 39 years, and we still haven't had a bathroom in that park. The bathroom that had been formed was demolished, people rack them. Where the surf was at, there's no bathroom. My thing is this, as board members, I hate to say this, but people that residents here should step up to the plate and do what I do. If you want to clean up the act, you're going to have to act right. I call HPD and they tell me this, we're not getting complaints from the community. That kind of shocked me. And I'm back here now. Like I said, I reorganizing the ʻEwa Beach Surf Club, but I need the community to police and help police that area there. 4th of July was a mess. This guy here picking up panties, condoms, all of this kind of stuff that I couldn't believe what was going on. My thing was this, if they're going to camp there, make it be legal. You have the signs that says no camping. There's no camping. They broke all the rules over there. When I had the ʻEwa Beach Surf Club, yeah, we were there, but we controlled. Dopers out of here. You want to dope? We had a zero tolerance for dopers. And today, I sit down there in the mornings, and even when I'm a 2-hour surfer. That's all. In the morning, down patrol guys. But the problem is, people out there are smoking pot a little like was legal. Okay. I can't believe. I really can't believe what's happening in that area. And my goal is to clean up that beach, and I need the support from the members and the community.
Thank you.
You have to voice yourself up, guys.
Thank
Hey,
you so much for the comments. I think we all agree with that. You know, a little update from John and I are on the Parks Committee, and we're striving very hard to get the bathroom installed and working with some of our representatives to get that funding. So we're on par there. And I think that, you know, I want to acknowledge your efforts and really appreciate it. And I guess if there's ways that we as a board can, you know, further support that, we at the Park Committee, like, come to us and let's think about ways that we can further that. You know, we have meetings with, there's the new director at the park, and maybe we can have you.
well, I
get more
appreciate,
involved in that as
I
well.
appreciate what you guys are doing right now. But like I said, I'm back down there. Like I said, I was the founder of the Beach Surf Club. In 62, I surfed in 62 and I got drafted. So I'm not, remember,
Yeah,
at that time,
I appreciate, we do have to, I just want to open it up for questions or comments from the board on this matter.
Sure, I'll make one.
Go ahead, John.
So there is money in this year's budget from Parks and Rec to start the planning. It's just the planning money for that bathroom near the surfer shack. And I can, so there is money for that. And we've been working on, and of course you see that they're putting in all the new irrigation.
right.
So that wasn't our choice. We were trying to get them to build more amenities and fix up the park by the surfers, but they chose to put in irrigation because that ball field is completely ruined. So hopefully that will bring back some kind of ball field or soccer fields in the big field area. But yeah,
I mean, I just had a meeting with the parks a couple of weeks ago, and they're in the process of planning it. And there's actually funding available for the construction for next
yeah,
year.
we already
So-
had a plan. That's the point.
Well, the master plan still exists, and that's still getting referenced. And in fact, there's other issues to try to maybe redo the master plan, but they were asked to actually, they asked us if they wanted to restart the master plan. I told them no, because that's going to take years and we want the bathroom now.
Exactly.
So we're pushing for it. So reach out to us. Let's talk
You know-
more. Alcos is involved with that and everything like that. So
You know, it's 39 years.
we got to move on though.
It's 39 years. I hope it's not 40
You
years.
and me both, brother.
And
Hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
I know what you're saying. We surf club, we 86, Herbie Harris, Wookie Hanley. I went to 4 years, Gaetano and all that. We know what we went to the bus safety. They go to these building and work for.
You're all right. No, I appreciate your passion. We are going to have to move on. So thank you so much for your time. Additional community concerns? Tara? Okay, I have 2 online. I'll get to the online people after this one.
Quick question. So
Name.
with Tara Rojas, so for this new procedure, like the things you had mentioned during the board, we have to kind of clump it all together in 2 minutes right now?
I mean, before the public comments were a minute and we extended it to 2 minutes.
Okay, so just put them all together. Okay, I'm gonna bring my notebook next time, but for first things first, I just wanted to say about the Red Hill Registry. You know, we just gotta keep in mind that if you haven't been keeping up with the news, that the Navy is refusing to pay for the cleanup, the $1 billion cleanup. So the Board of Water Supply, you know, have filed against them. So super important, gotta keep our eye out for our water. Number 2 was the race park. Just keep in mind that when the acquisition of that land, it's contaminated, you know, so they stated as soon as it was passed over. So just kind of keep that in mind, because if it's for like the cake and everything, yeah, so the soil and everything. So that's it. Wanted to say was regarding the Nenue, the Moy Limu. Doesn't make sense if after all these years, knowing the military shooting range, you know, the issues with the lead contamination, it's proven with the lead contamination from over like 27%, the allowed limit. The fish, you know, the lead found in the fish, we heard at the other presentations, the meetings, and what was it? The antimony or the shells have been found as well, the lead and the dust in that area. And yet all these meetings been calling out, the Marines, what are you guys gonna do? And they're just dragging it out and out with still no movement for over years. You can find it in the minutes of these Ewa Beach Neighborhood Board meetings. So I was just gonna say that please don't be influenced by samples. Please don't be influenced by Georgia's own personal. It has to be for the community. So please do not approve this because doesn't make sense if there's lead contamination in the water. You're gonna be consuming fish, ʻEwa, and limu that is gonna absorb it for consumption, knowing the effects of lead. So any lead amount of lead is not, it's not good for anybody, especially the KK and pregnant people. So do not approve it.
Thank
Mahalo.
you, Tara. Appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna go. I know I have Andrea and Eileen. I'm gonna jump to them and I'll come back to you.
And then,
Or let's go ahead and we'll move forward with the person in the room first. Uh-oh. You can step to this one over here. Huh? Why don't you get the podium?
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee and board. Aloha to the members of the committee here. Corey Asuncion, acting representative for the Ewa Beach Surf Club. We revised the surf club. This is the founder for 39 years, actually since 1958. So we're revamping, all right? So we're getting everything together. We're taking over the beach. We was always there, but now he's back and he's fixing everything. So let me announce a couple of things, guys. We're over there to crack the whip. You guys are more than welcome to come and help with us down the beach. We use the beach daily. Actually, 75 years old is the best surfer out there, trust me. But anyway, I want to see more of you guys come down to the beach. I know it's kind of scary, but we're going to clean it up, right? Yeah, well, a lot of people said it's scary. Okay, one thing we have is a lot of homeless. There's a couple homeless living on the beach side now. We're trying to get them out. There's so many rubbish that's left there, condoms, needles. I clean it every 3 to 4 days. I go out there and I clean it just because I have passion for the beach. I was raised there where my dad used to pick the limo. We used to sell it, pay our rent. Now, what's happening on July 20th, ladies and gentlemen, in a couple weeks, July 20th, we have our first beach cleanup as a revised surf club. It's going to have food, tents, going to have nets, fishing, working with Representative Alcos. We want to invite all of you to come as a ohana, as a community, to just bring your kids and pick up bottle caps, things, and clean the beach. Feel part of the Aina and the Kai. That's what we want. We want to bring, because it's going to be built. Thank you, John and Alex, David. I know we sat in a couple of times to revamping the beach, the master plan and everything like that. Uncle's been waiting 39 years. Lo and behold, these guys with David been working on the bathrooms. I didn't want to tell him. I want to surprise you guys, let him know, because he's thinking 39 years, it's not going to happen. But they're starting the irrigation, they're starting the piping, and it's going to be done, sooner or later. But anyway, I want to invite all you guys on July 20th. Please come down 10 a.m. We have foods. It's a potluck, so if you want to bring something, we're going to have music. We're going to have games for the kids. It's a whole big festival, right, as a revamped club, right? All right, mahalo, guys.
Awesome. That's great, Corey. Are there going to be pamphlets or social media?
You know what? I went to print at UPS, the thing, and their printer was down. That's why I have nothing right now.
What time is the event?
I sent it to Alcos. We probably can post it, the flyer. We have a flyer.
But the event, do you know what time it starts?
Oh, it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
10 to 6 p.m. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you
So
so
we're going to
much.
have raffles, just food, just bringing
Love
the
it.
community together. That's
Love
all.
it.
Yeah. You
Thank
guys are all invited.
Mahalo, mahalo. All right. Okay, moving on to online. We're going to start with Andrea Diaz Machado.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Andrea Diaz Machado. I'm the Pelekikena, the president of Kealohi o ʻEwa, the parent and community advisory group for Ke Kulakaiopuni o Kapolei. On behalf of our Makua and community, I seek the ʻEwa Neighborhood Board support to pass a resolution to expand Ke Kulakaiopuni o Kapolei into a self-contained K-12 school. to address the monumental need and demand for a self-contained Hawaiian immersion school that will serve the land districts of Ewa, Waianae, and Waialua. So far, the Pearl City Neighborhood Board passed the first resolution in February of 2025, and the Kapolei Neighborhood Board passed theirs in May 2025. I was introduced to Alex today and found out that this meeting was happening. And so, yeah, I'm here to just kind of share with you our vision for Kekula Kaiopuni o Kapolei, and Corey sharing right before. It's a very nice segue. So he's talking about taking care of the Aina and the Kai. That is exactly what Hawaiian immersion is all about. It is about teaching our keiki about who they are and having a strong sense of identity and connection to place, Maka'olelo Hawaii, through the Hawaiian language, which is our worldview as Kanaka, which really shapes the way we look at the world, the way we interact with the world. And this school is very, very important to this side of the island because of the number of Hawaiians that live here, and also the very large homestead population that continues to grow in Kapolei. And soon there will be, I understand, Hawaiian homestead in Ewa Beach. So the need and demand for a K-12 school is clear. We are Kekula Kaiopuni o Kapolei. We are right now for our Papa ʻEwa, that is our 9th grade. We are waiting for the DOE to affirm that we have a kumu for next year. These are the kinds of lack of resources and lack of prioritization that we face as an immersion system. And so my son is in that first class. And from our first year to our second year, we increased our enrollment by 128%. 42% of current Anuenue students, so that is one of 2 K-12 schools that currently exist on Oahu in Palolo, all the way in Palolo. They have about 42% of their enrollment comes from the Ewa and Waianae Moku. So these kids have to wake up very early in the morning to catch a bus. They come home very late. Because they go to school so far, they're not able to really be in their community and be educated and be connected to their community. So we want to change that. We want to ho'i kawai. We want to return the vai, which are our keiki, our haumana, our students. We want to return them to be educated in the communities that they come from.
Thank you, Andrea. We got to wrap that up.
Okay. So yeah, that our ask is if we could please get the support of the Ewa Neighborhood Board to write a similar resolution. I did share the resolution with Alex that the Pearl City Neighborhood Board put together, and I'm happy to help in any way I can and answer any questions that you may have. Mahalo for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Andrea. And I think it's a fantastic resolution, and we should try to get it on the agenda. I think it's going to get major support here from this board. So thanks again for that. All right, moving on.
Mahalo.
Yep. Eileen? Gaudis?
Yes, aloha, folks. Yeah, Chairperson, I just wanted to comment on the Kalaeloa Raceway Park that they're going to recreate out there. And just a reminder, as our fellow speakers said something, or our citizens said something about the environmental issues, but also just to remind people that the last time there was a Raceway Park, they were evicted. Numerous citations, legal issues, unpaid rent, fines, investigations for land clearing, et cetera, et cetera. So that's an issue. And I'm just put a question to Board Member Rogers, if he could also talk about how the National Parks has a role in approving this land for this.
Okay, we're
Mr.
gonna.
Rogers?
Sure. Yeah, real briefly. So the National Park, the Department of Parks and Recreation from Honolulu had to request permission, special permission to get permission to put a racetrack on this new Kala'aloa parkland. So it wasn't on. So there's a list of things that you can do on the land because the National Park Service actually has to watch over what the city's doing to this land. They can't just do whatever they want. So because this wasn't on the list of authorized uses, they had to get a special permission to do it. And of course, the national, well, not of course, but the National Park Service said, yeah, you can put a racetrack there. But I don't think they understood all the implications of where the land is, how it's situated, and who lives nearby. So that's the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, John.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the community? If not, I'm going to move on to John, to John Clark.
This will be just right quick. This refers to something I talked about earlier today when the gentleman from the bus program was talking about buses going into Capilino homes. This is a huge deal. I don't know why the DOE didn't put more effort into putting this out. There's a bunch of preamble there, but if you skip down at that shaded, no, Jeff, you're good. For the audience, the last sentence in that shaded area, effective school year 25-26, Express will extend availability to students attending middle and or intermediate schools statewide. So basically, a free school pass. But there are some caveats to it. You have to live at least 1.5 miles from your home school, not a GE school. It has to be your home school. So basically, free school rides for kids to ride on the bus. There was a bus rider shortage, as we know, beginning several years ago. So all this preamble, to me, they shouldn't have had that. They should have just said, free bus rides for her, middle school and intermediate school kids. I think that is the primary message. So if you have a friend, tell a friend. I'll make sure this gets posted in a lot of the Facebook sites. But this is, I think, great news. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to go Diana's, and then we have Rep. Reyes-Oda online after.
Just to go back to dovetail off what Clark was saying about the bus stops, going back to DTS about that Capilino bus route. There's a lot of schools in our district, and principals are here, and they're requesting, if possible, 2 bus routes in the morning and 2 bus routes in the evening because of, to return from school. Some of the classes might end later. Also, their bus, they said that they have one school bus that's servicing the area that accommodates 50 students, but they have over 136 students, and that's one school, not including Holomua or ʻEwa Elementary or Campbell. So if possible, if he goes back online or if he reads the minutes, if with this pilot program, instead of 1, go with 2 if possible. And secondly, I don't know if Corey's still outside. He left already. Okay, damn it. Well, we did a lot of cleanups for Oniola Beach Park. I just wanted to bring up real quick that it is what he complained about: needles, draws, condoms. You don't want your kikis to beat that up. Keep them away from that. I'm gonna say, let the adults do the cleanup. Let the kikis go play. I was gonna let him know, but he kind of left. Sorry about that. And that's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Mitch. Rep. Reyes-Oda? Julie, you on?
Can you guys hear me? Or am I okay?
You're good.
Okay, sorry, before me, I know that there's Principal Chris Bonilla in the room with you guys. Is he able to go before me? He's in the room with you guys, and then I'll go after him. Yeah, can I go after him?
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Hello, board, community. Chris Bonilla, proud principal, Holomua Elementary School. The goal is to just raise awareness about the traffic safety concerns in front of the school and to raise awareness specifically about the need to replace and extend the delineators in front of the school. This is my 3rd year at the school. I've seen it myself firsthand. Thank you to those, and you know who you are, who we've worked with and met with. Just wanted to make sure that this is brought to everyone's awareness. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal. Julie, you want to follow up with that? I'm supposing it's a related topic, yeah?
Sure. It is. I'm just checking to make sure I can. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I am 11 hours ahead of you guys. I am streaming in from Madeira Island in Portugal. I came here as a legislator of Portuguese descent to learn about different things out here. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning, or is it seven? So almost 8 o'clock in the morning. So I will be logging off right after this, and my Robbie will be representative will be taking my place there. But Principal Bonilla, who used to be my coworker at Campbell High School when we were both teachers, is talking about is on Keaunui Drive. There is, of course, entrances and the egresses coming out of Holomua Elementary. And the part he's talking about is when parents leave the school and make a left turn on Holomua, the DTS or the city transportation put yellow plastic delineators to deter the left turns in February, and within a week they all got run over, and they were replaced, and they lasted for 2 weeks. So by, I believe, about March 1st, since then they've been knocked down, and Principal Vanilla was hoping to get them replaced. And since then, we've been hoping to try to get them replaced and working to get funding from the city and county, even the state, to try to get funding. And in all honesty, we don't really care where the money comes from. I think Principal Vanilla can say that we are trying to just make sure that it is safe for the kids to get to school, to walk from school, to be dropped off at school. Whether that money comes from DTS, from Safe Routes to School, we have been trying to work. Aaron from Councilman Talba's office visited the school with us too. We had contacted Safe Routes to School and recently said that they're going to try and look to see if funds can be released, but they need to have some kind of group approve it. So we are working on that. And what we were hoping today to get on here, which didn't get put on the agenda, was for a resolution to get passed to say that the neighborhood board would support it. So that's why Principal Vanilla and I were here today to try to get that done. What they wanted to do was replace what were the delineators in the road with something called tough curbs, which is what I had put up a little slideshow. It was just showing the pictures of what tough curbs are, to try to deter the running over of the delineators, to try to make sure that we can not get them run over within a week. And I can send those to you guys if you guys want to see that. And that's the only reason why we're here, is we're just hoping to get support to do that. Just to make sure that, yeah, we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And I think, we'll get that on the agenda for next month. And I'm sure that you're going to get the support from the board. I think it was just, obviously we had a super packed agenda, even with some people canceling, we're still behind time. So yeah, Jeffrey.
Sorry, let me add, can I add one more thing? The only reason it was urgent is because he is the principal of the only school that's a track school, and they just started school on July 8th. Everybody else starts school in August. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Jeffrey?
Rep. Reyes-Oda, since you did yourself and principal share during the residents community concerns, this is, of course, we can also put on the agenda, but this is something that I'll be putting on the mayor's rep report for DTS to hopefully provide follow-up come next month's regular board meeting. Just wanted to put that on the record for you.
Great. Thanks for that,
Thank
Jeffrey.
you.
Okay, moving on. Other monthly reports. Hunt Companies update. We have our good friend. Okay. Moving on. Gentry Homes update. Any reps?
Yes, hi, I'm online. But yes. No major changes since last month, but in our email correspondence regarding the street light, I just wanted to share a quick update on that, since it's been taking kind of a while and we've been pushing and pressing on that. So the last place where we've been at is the plans have been reviewed by DTS and they were returned to us, Gentry. But in the return comments, DTS is requesting traffic cameras to be installed, which is not part of the original, I guess, request for the traffic light. We're willing to install it, but after saying so, we found out that there's no infrastructure to do so, because they have to be hardwired in. They can't just be kind of like the attachable ones. And in order to build the infrastructure, it would need electrical conduits, and the closest connection is on Fort Weaver Road, which is about a mile away. And that would take, of course, extra time, permitting, construction, et cetera. And our goal is, of course, to deliver this kind of as quickly as possible to y'all. So we know it's a big safety concern. So we're going back and forth with DTS right now to see if there's a compromise that can be made, if they could help, or if there can be like a temporary camera for now until it's being built. But we're just trying to see if they're willing to accept the street light without the camera right now. But yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Sunny, right? It's Sunny?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you, Sunny.
Please forgive my background.
Was that a street light with camera, or was that the traffic light at Geiger?
It's the traffic light. And so originally there was no there was no mention of the traffic camera being there. And then it was just in this round of comments where they kind of tacked it on. And then that's when we learned about all the additional things
Yeah, I
needed.
think the closest tie-in would be not for Weaver, would be Kapolei Parkway. And secondly, if possible, can you give us an update on that tennis court park by Holomua? And also if I think Holomua has a parking lot or something, you guys gave acres to Holomua for
Yes.
a parking area. If you could give an update on that as well.
Sure. Yes, of course. So for your first question, this is what we were told by DTS is the closest connection is Fort Weaver. So we're taking that from them. And then for the update on Holomua is there's going through rounds of attorneys, et cetera. And so it's still with DOE to get the final legal jargon done and assigned so we can turn over the parking lot to them. And then the tennis court facility is proceeding forward. They're going through their next rounds of steps. And so that's going well on track. It's just the transfer of land between us and the DOE that is just taking a little bit of time, but we've been pressing DOE to help us finish that, and they've been helping out.
Okay, one question on that. So the power for the light has to come from a city source. It can't be run through the Haseko development. Is that correct?
That I'm not quite sure on. I'm passing on a conversation from our engineer. I
Well-
can take that back to him, but he was told by DTS that it needs to be hardwired into, I believe, their electric infrastructure. But I can follow up to
So
see
yeah, if you could, because I mean, first of all, just be sure to see it. Kapolei Parkway is much closer than Fort Weaver. So bring that to them. And then if you could inquire on, that source and where, because there's the whole development, obviously, that you guys are building is right there. So if you could help clarify on how and why that can't be incorporated, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Okay, one more.
sure.
Move on, but we got Clark with one more comment.
So back to the again, staying on the topic of the traffic light, I'm confused as to why this is why either the two entities are not owning this issue. Board Member Tynanez and I have talked consistently about the likelihood of another death because we've already had deaths at this intersection. So somebody needs to own this process. I've been seeing the emails go back and forth about going back and forth, but nobody's owning this to resolve it. So either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. I don't mean this to you directly, you know what I mean? I don't, but somebody's got to own this. And I don't see any ownership thus far. So if, God forbid, something should happen to someone else at that intersection, not necessarily even a death, but serious injury, to me, this is on DTS and or Gentry because nobody's owning this. So please take this back to them and tell them exactly what I said. Nobody's owning this, and one of the two of them needs to own it.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
Yes. No, of course. And I fully appreciate and I hear what you're saying. And I will continue to pass that on if
Thank you.
possible. If you could pass that on to DTS as well. We are working really hard on our end as well to try and make this happen. But I just want to say that in order for any connection to happen, that would require additional permitting, construction time, et cetera. And we want to we're ready to install and put it in. This was just a last minute curveball thrown in. But I do completely
Thank you.
understand.
That's part of the issue. And I think maybe I know it's not, maybe we need to get a resolution going here as well, we've been talking about this for a long time. So I think a resolution.
Yes, no, and I hear, and I'm not shying away from our part as well in it. We are.
Thank you, Sunny.
But yes,
Appreciate
if you would like to, for sure, and we can pass that, or you can send it to them. But yes.
Okay. Thanks. Moving on. Has anyone here from Hosika Homes? Okay, moving on. DR Horton. Okay, moving on to government officials. We're going to start with U.S. Marine Corps Base Hawaii. What, state your name and
Good evening, members of the board and community members. For those of you that don't know me, I'm First Lieutenant Haley Harms, a Communication Strategies Officer at Marine Corps Base Hawaii. With that being said, for some upcoming events that we have going on at our base, we have the canoe regatta happening this Sunday. The first race is at 0800. It will be ending around 4 p.m. if that is something you're interested in attending. In August, sorry. Erase this. In August, we also have the air show coming up. So August 9th and 10th is the air show dates. If you're interested in attending, you can find more updates on the website, kbayairshow.com. On that website, you'll be able to find the prohibited items list along with VIP tickets as well, if that's something that interests you. Getting into some updates about PRTF. So suppressors have been implemented for ARQs since June. So it's still going on and it will stay here for the foreseeable future at the moment. And last but not least, the last update I have is about the impact berms and sound barrier extension. So the concept plan for the impact berm and sound barrier is still under review by NAVFAC and the military construction. Those are all the updates that I have at the moment. Questions?
thank you. Any questions? Board? Nothing? The community? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. U.S. Navy. Rep online.
I have questions.
Oh,
You have a question, sir?
yeah. Hold on, Rep. We do have one question. I missed that. Go ahead, Board Member Plavin.
It's just a quick question. Is there this mysterious sound abatement construction project that we've been hoping to get a report on? Is there a NEPA action involved with that? You guys do
I'm
an
sorry, what was
environmental
the first
assessment?
of your question?
He asked if with the sound barrier that you're mentioning, if there's a NEPA report associated with that project. Project process.
I do not have that update at the moment, but I can get back to you.
Is there any kind of documentation? Because I think that's what we'd asked for last time. Like, is there a plan besides verbal communication that there's something happening? Is there anything written?
My understanding is that there is a plan, but it's with NAVFAC at the moment.
Okay, we would just like to be on the early end of any public comment or NEPA actions. And if it's a KTEX, well, we'd like to know that as well. Something's going on, we don't know anything about it. That's all. We'd like to know more, please.
I understand, and we'll get you guys an update as soon as possible. So,
Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay, back to you, Navy online, Rep.
Hey, good morning. Or sorry, good evening. Hey, my name is Daniel Sanford. I'm from Navy Region, Hawaii Public Affairs. I'm stepping in for Chief Jen for this evening. I'll be back next month. I did want to touch base on a couple things. We have our weekly Navy Region Hawaii Olelo that we normally distribute hard copies there, but we did pass along a copy that we hope we can distribute among members, and that can be seen online as well. We are restarting our monthly ship tours program on Saturday mornings. Those are run from approximately 9 o'clock in the morning until 10:45. And this is usually with our guided missile destroyers on board the base. It's good for any taxpayer out there interested to see what the United States Navy does here in Hawaii. I encourage you to get involved in these tours. For more information about that, please reach out to Chief Jan as well. Lastly, we have community whiteboat tours that we are scheduling every month as well that visit USS Arizona and do a Pearl Harbor tour as well. if you were interested in that, those leave late afternoon from the Pacific Fleet Boathouse, just past the Arizona Memorial Visitor Center. And our next tour is July 25th. So if there's any of the if you have any civic or school organization that would like to learn more about the history of the USS Arizona and World War II, I encourage you to get involved in these community-wide boat tours as well. Lastly, our La Lima Navy program is going very strongly. We are highlighting 250 acts of voluntary community service in the area, and we have just reached 210 with around, still going very strong, and we certainly look like to surpass 250 by the Navy's birthday. But if there is any organization out there, anything in the Oahu area that would benefit from Navy volunteer work, again, encourage you to reach out to Chief Jen and and we'll see if we can come to some arrangement there for where our workforce can come and help out the local community. Pending your questions, that's all I have.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Daniel. Any questions from the board? I did have one question. I know I had asked a couple months ago on the whole invasive algae and the kayak route across the Pearl Harbor entrance, and for an update on that. The octocoral, thank you. Do you know, do you have an update on that?
Definitely, yeah. The base environmental office is working to suppress the octocoral out there. They have several different kinds of it's large canvas sheets that go and suffocate.
Not to interrupt you, but just to clarify, like, we are familiar, we've heard that at the I'm just wondering, so the kayak route got shut down for people commuting across the Pearl Harbor entrance, and that's a lot of people use it. And so the question was, when's that going to be reopened?
I'll take that question with me, and we'll make sure the chief responds to that answer on our next meeting.
Okay, appreciate it.
Sorry
any
about that.
from the community? Oh, Mike, you had a question? Go ahead.
And real quick, I just wondered if there is an update available, or could we request an update on the Westlock Long Ordnance magazine bunker construction? I haven't heard anything about that for quite a while. We're wondering just where we are on that. Appreciate an update on that, please.
Sure, I am unfamiliar with that personally, but can I take that down again? He said it was the West Lock.
I believe the project is called the Magazines for Long Ordnance at Westlock. They're building 27 new bunkers and moving all of the missiles from Lu'u'u'alei on the west side into Westlock. The Army's got a project on the other end as well. And we were wondering what's the progress on that.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that. Moving on, U.S. Army duty officer. The mic, say your name. Yep.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Major Rance T. Blake, the Brigade Executive Officer for 25th Infantry Division. Just wanted to introduce myself, and I'm here to answer any questions, and then also if there's any community events, ready to listen and answer any questions. Over.
All right. Any questions on the board? Mike, online?
Same question. We're just wondering what the progress is on building all those new weapons magazines up by Westlock Fairways.
Understand all, sir. I will get you guys an answer. I don't have one right now, but we can have one next month. Over.
Okay, that's great. Go ahead, Susan.
Yes, now that the BLNR has rejected the Army's environmental impact statement for the military leases, do you know what the Army is intending to do? Will they redo it? Will they appeal?
I don't have an answer for that, ma'am, but we can get that for you next.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Appreciate updates on that. Be great. Okay, anything else? If not, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you for the service. And moving on to U.S. Representative Ed Case quarterly report. Right. Mayor Rick Langiardi's representative.
Hi, good evening, Chair and board members. Mark Unamine, presenting Mayor Blangiardi. A couple things to follow up from the last board meeting. One question was regarding if the neighborhood board could be split into two separate boards to better service the growing population. There's a pretty lengthy response from NCO, but just to summarize, I mean, there is a process, and for more information about initiating a new neighborhood board, you can look at Chapter 15 of the Neighborhood Plan, and it's available online at honolulu.gov/NCO/resources. So there is a process to do that. A couple other items that were already covered regarding the traffic signal at Geiger. Sunny touched on that, as well as the Kapalina Beach Home bus routes. Kent spoke about that earlier. One item remaining is regarding Oneula Beach Park maintenance. Also on that, so DPR, they do try and get, well, there's daily service by DPR staff, but also they do try and cut the grass once a month. But also there is that ongoing irrigation project. So the contractor is reminded to keep that area maintained as well during construction. Other than that, I'll take any questions.
All right, questions from the board? Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, I have a couple of things. I wrote you during this month a while ago about the Kalaloa racetrack, and I asked several questions, and I was hoping that maybe you could start answering some of them, but obviously that's not going to happen. So, did you get my email? I guess that's the first question, because I didn't get a response.
Not that I recall. If you could resend that, then I will definitely look
I
for
sent
it.
it to you, the mayor, and Director Thielen. Okay, I will resend that. But basically, it's several questions just about the operation, how that's all going to work, environmental assessments, who's going to monitor noise, what's the rules, just stuff that you would normally have before you would bring to the neighborhood board before that you would say in public forum that you're going to do something without talking to the community first. And then the second thing I got, and I wrote you this a couple of days ago, it's about there's going to be a road closure by the Hawaiian Railway Society. There's a Renton Road turns into a private road, which then enters onto FDR.
Correct.
Highway. And so I just wanted to make everyone aware that they got signs up and that they're going to close that fence. And I talked to the people at HRS, and they have good reasons. There's liability and all that. But I was hoping that the city should somehow come up with a plan, like creating an easement that they could take over the liability responsibility and the maintenance responsibility for that roadway, because it was opened up. I mean, it was opened up after like early aughts. When the bus asked, hey, we want to do a bus route through here. And so we got bus 47, bus 44 going through that area. And now those buses are going to they're going to have to change their route. So the bus is going to have to change. It's going to affect how that operates, and I'll wind it up. And yeah, so I'm just, if you could respond to that, if you're able to, about that gate, what you guys are planning, or come back to us next month, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I don't have a final answer on that. I know between DTS and Department of Facility Maintenance, there's still it's still in discussion. Facility maintenance, all the roadways fall under their jurisdiction, but like you're mentioning, right, DTS, they have their buses that pass through there as well. So they're still trying to work out what's the best for for the community, as well as jurisdictional issues between departments. So yeah, like I mentioned, I mean, I don't have a final answer from them, but hopefully by next meeting I will.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Clark.
I'm quite frankly, I'm a little shocked at your response regarding the traffic light. You specifically said, yeah, Sonny spoke about that. Again, to me, that's an unacceptable response. I expect some degree of ownership. You know, we're dependent upon DTS to solve this problem, and it's been kind of dragging along for quite some time. So at the next meeting, can you bring back specific comments on what DTS is doing differently to resolve whatever issues that they haven't been able to resolve to move this very important traffic issue to resolution?
Okay,
And,
will
and,
do.
and please don't let it be something like Sonny spoke about that. That is completely unacceptable.
Okay.
Tynanes, you had a comment?
You stole what I was going to say. Nah, just a little history on it. There already was 2 deaths on that road at that intersection. So it is a pressing issue. If possible, if Gentry's ready to install it, and they're pointing the finger back at you guys at DTS, you know. So now we just need somebody to light the fire. That's all. Secondly, I know the city parks department is spraying all the coconut trees for the CRP, right, in the city parks. Got a few over here. Gotta spray them. But is there any way that the community who has coconut trees or residents that has palm trees, instead of paying a person, can they learn or it somehow doesn't come out of pocket for them to save their palm trees? Or city, state, any agencies other than, you know, kind of trying to find somebody? Because I think it's about $250 to $300 per tree. So if you can take that back, if possible.
Okay, I will find out.
All right, thanks for that. And just, reiterating that the stoplight issue and has been brought up multiple times, and the racetrack issue is something that has been discussed multiple times at today's meeting. So hopefully you can really get that message back and come back with some additional information for the next meeting. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
moving on. Council Member District 1, Andrea Tupola.
Aloha, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, aloha mahalo, Vice Chair Giles. You're doing an awesome job. Thank you so much. Good evening to everyone, new and returning board members. We appreciate it. I'm going to make this fast because I know we've been here for quite some time. For board Roger, so I understand there's numerous questions in reference to the racetrack. So I know policy director from our office, Mika, she informed us because you were looking to have a meeting on July 22nd with the Parks Committee. So that meeting that will disclose that information got pushed to August. So they're aware of all your questions. Everything was submitted. So they're getting all that generated for you. So you should be able to see it in August. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that that was addressed. I know that for the month of June, I apologize, former Chair Clark, for sending that misunderstanding email. But in the month of June, our office did have a whole lot of successful things that occurred. We emailed you everything that we had done, from everything from the game room bills, 11, 12, 13, that was signed from the mayor, that was passed. And we had so many other different bills that went through. Everything was emailed over to you. So it was a very successful month for us in June. To come up with the month of August, we do show that we have the Waianae Watershed Management Town Hall that's going to be presented via Zoom on August 26th. So if anyone's interested, please let us know. Call us or email us if we have any questions. Andrea Tupola does have her second annual Price into Paradise that's coming in October 25th. That's going to be at the Blaisdell. It's going to be a little bit much more because we're going to also provide job opportunities there besides for first-time home buyers. But other than that, that is all that I do have to report at this time. Is there any questions, concerns? I just wanted to make sure that Board Rogers had his at least something addressed in reference to that area.
Thank you, Jeannie.
I just want to thank you. And so if I understand it right, it's going to be parks. It's going to be a council parks committee meeting.
If I'm not mistaken, that's correct. But you should get an email shortly reflecting that all that information should present to you guys by August.
Okay, I already got an email telling me that it was moved into August. Like, I
Oh,
think
okay.
it's August 8th.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I'm so sorry, everyone. I know it's a little late in the evening, but any other questions, concerns you need me to help you with?
Yeah, we have, Tynanis, did you have a question? Oh, Clark?
Mine just real quick, just to clarify, from your email, I didn't know that you had thought that we were recessing this month. I just wanted to
I
make
know. I am so sorry for the confusion. I apologize once again.
No worries. Thank you.
I got a quick question. So this is more of my ignorance with the exact layout of some of the districts. So, is are you familiar with the stoplight we're talking about, and does that overlap with your area? I think it does. You're hearing what the concerns we voiced at multiple meetings as well. Can we get your team to help us with that?
I will try. We just don't want to overstep boundaries, but I believe there is an overlap. But I'll just follow up with Councilmember Toba's office just to ensure the status.
I appreciate that response, but I think overstep boundaries is one thing, but making that come from multiple angles is important, right? And so you don't have to
Exactly.
necessarily step on anyone's toes, but you can voice and reiterate that it's a major concern for us. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. All
You're
right,
welcome.
any questions from the community? If not, we're moving on to Councilmember District 9, Augie Toba.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Aaron, say your name, Aaron.
Aloha board members, vice chair, that's pretty cool. Aaron Michael Ho here from the office of Councilmember Augie Toba. Do want to wish you a happy fiscal year. Welcome to the new board members. Glad to have you. And in interest of time, please peruse our neighborhood board report. There are extra copies on the back table for your convenience. I did want to draw your attention to the flyer that accompanied it. We are hosting a cleanup or beautification next week on Pepper Row and Beulah Street in the other villages. It's just our next step in trying to make ʻEwa as beautiful as we can in the time we have. It's going to be on Saturday, July 19th from 8:30 to 10. If you have a weed whacker or a rake and gloves, please bring that. There will be supplies provided, like trash bags and tongs and the like. But if you do have further tools and equipment that you would want to use when you come out, we invite you to bring those as well. So the council recently underwent a reorganization of sorts for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into that. I do want to just impress that there are new committees and new chairs and vice chairs, and there are a new committee schedule in the council. So if you see in our bulletin, the chairs and vice chairs of the committees are listed for you. And for the schedule, you can see it at honolulucitycouncil.org, I believe is the website. And last but not least, council member wanted me to remind everyone that he is available should you want to meet with him on a personal, on a one-on-one in person. He's in the community on Mondays and Fridays, generally speaking. So if you wanted to sit down for coffee or meet him in a park or whatever the case may be, please reach out to our office, 768-5009, or you can email him at atoba@honolulu.gov. And yeah, I guess I'll end there. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? I have a question. So I did, I put Representative Toba's feet to the fire a little bit last meeting about that he hasn't ever spoken up on the PRTF lead issue at all. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not asking him to necessarily take a position on something, but it concerns me that there's the potential for contamination, and so I brought that up, and I'm not hearing anything at this meeting either. And so is he going to be active on the committee that is formed under, or whatever we're calling it, the working group under HCR 28? Because I know he's a part of that. So is he actually going to be actively involved in that?
So to directly answer that question, yes. I believe the legislation says that the council member is a a co-convener. So yes, we will be at, and I believe the first meeting is coming up in a couple of weeks. So yes, we will be there. We will be participating. As far as our official positions, so like it's kind of a tricky thing because we understand like that, like, you know, the dangers of the lead presence, and we understand that like the experience of having PRTF where it is, you know, it has been, you know, I don't know if I should use the word blight or whatever the experience has been. But on the other side of the coin, like there are numbers that 60% of the community still support the Marines, you know, and the military. So how to navigate that has been an issue because we always want to support what the greater community wants. We just don't know like how to best do that.
Well, so, okay, I have a comment on that, and I'm not going to drag this out, but I support the Marines. So I don't understand how that's a conflict. The issue is that there's potential lead contamination into the neighboring community. That's the only issue. So it doesn't matter if if you support the Marines or not. It's about understanding whether that contamination is in fact impacting people that live around the range. That's it. 'Cause
Completely
I
agree
support
with you.
the Marines. I don't-
Completely agree with you. And so our hesitancy in making a public declaration is that we are still waiting for the studies to come back saying conclusively this is what it is.
Well,
And
so there
without
are
those
no
numbers,
more studies being scheduled. That's the part of the issue. So
well, that's the part of the working group, right? Is to get whatever the situation is like further
Yeah.
articulated.
Hopefully so. Okay, I appreciate that. Any other comments or questions? Dennis?
Yeah, real quick on the PRTF, the only drawback I got about the lead contamination for the water side is that, you know, I'm a fisherman. I lose a lot of lead. You know, we're talking 12 ounce, 10 ounce, 8 ounce lead in the water. So, you know, bullets are this big. That's ricochets that goes into the water. It's not like they're shooting into the water. We're talking ricochets and all that kind. But I'm just worried that I'm not gonna be able to fish off Eva Beach, you know, the park. That's just my side. But secondly, there was a concern that came up that we brought up about the Holomua Elementary School. And if you guys can help out with putting up those berms and delineators, make them metal, not plastic. As you can see, even on the poly, the state keep putting up delineators, they run them over. Put them back up, they run them over. Make one steel pipe, especially in front of the schools.
Okay, so with that, like we have been an active part of that conversation, and the reason tough curbs is the next logical step is because the delineators that are there now are just like direct, like, you know, installed into the ground. But the tough curbs have a bit of a plastic like build up, so it's supposed to be a little bit more of a deterrent from those people making the illegal left turn out of the driveway, whatever the case may be. So the issue has become funding and getting DTS and the state to get motivated to, you know, find that funding. Like that's kind of what the hangup has been. If that gets installed and that doesn't work, I don't know what the next step is. So it's just going to be the next iteration of that discussion. But yeah, the tough curb was chosen because it is, you know, it has that additional curbing that they're saying might deter that left turn.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. All right. Good.
And that issue is like HPD presence during that time available? I mean, has that like,
So, okay.
I mean, make HPD
So with
present
that,
in that area. during
whenever
that time.
HPD has been there, it doesn't happen, which is always the case, right? And then like the fact of the matter is HPD can't be there every day for the school prime time, like travel hours. They just can't logistically be there because they don't have the personnel and they don't have the finances for that. So it really comes down to cultural change and whatever measures we can have on the street.
Thanks for that, Aaron. And I think the resolution hopefully can support that effort as well.
Absolutely.
So appreciate your effort on that. Okay, we're good. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on to Board of Water Supply. Okay, moving on. Department of Education. Moving on. Governor Josh Green's representative. Okay, moving on to Hawaii Department of Transportation. All right, moving on to Senate District 19, Senator Henry Aquino. Online?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I have board members, my family representing Senator Aquino this evening?
Can't hear you too well. Can you?
Oh,
speak
hold
into
on,
the
hold
mic?
on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, better. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, board members, Nathaniel Ise representing Senator Aquino this evening. Chair, this afternoon I did email you my report, and with that being said, also I do stand by my report. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the board? Any questions from the community? All right, moving on, Senate District 20, Senator Kurt Favela. Is that him? We can come back to him. We'll jump to Senate District 21, Senator Mike Gabbard. Online?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Aloha board and community members. I'm Melanie June. I'm Senator Gabbard's community liaison. Senator sends his best. We don't have many updates this month other than Senator's July newsletter, which I'll drop the link to into the chat. Senator will also be hosting his next Listen Story meeting on Saturday, July 26th from 9 to 10 a.m. at the Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge. The guest speaker will be Lee Cobian, president of the Oahu Motorsports Association, who will share updates on the Kalaeloa racetrack, which I'm sure more people have some questions on after today. But other than that, feel free to contact our office if there's anything we can help with, and I'm happy to take any questions back to the senator.
Great, thanks for that, Melanie. I guess you've obviously heard our concerns about not being
course.
consulted. So you can obviously take that back to him.
Yeah, definitely. And come by this month. We'll share some more updates on it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, any questions from board? What?
Is the senator still the chair for agriculture or no?
Yes, he is.
Same question. If there's any, I guess, possibility instead of our community or residents paying for somebody to help treat the, for the CRBs, if there's any ways, shape, or form that they can either teach classes, some type of donations. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I could take that
Something.
back to Senator, and next month I can come back with an update on something we figure out.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Any other questions? All right, go ahead, step up. Say your name.
Aloha, Tara Rojas. I have a question on regarding that, the CRB. So if there's a possibility to help the residents and the state, the residents in the state, but not to poison, without poison. And there are people, there's a Palala down in Kaneohe, Daniel Anthony, he and his crew, his hui, they found ways to do it naturally. And so the state, it's not money making for the state if they don't, treat it chemically, but the long-term effects, this is as serious as the jet fuel in the water. This is as serious as the lead in the ocean. This CRB affecting not only coconut, it goes into other plants that we eat as well. So if you can really, the state and this, what was he, the department or the chair of the agriculture, if they can really tap into the community, because it's not about profit, it's about the people and the environment. Mahalo.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great if you could pass that message on as well, that of our interest to pursue those options alongside Board Member Tainana's request to let us find ways to be able to do that on our own.
Definitely. Thank you guys for the recommendation.
All right, moving on. Do we have our rep for Kurt Favela back yet? No. Okay. Representative District 39, Elijah Perrick. District 40, Julie Reyes Oda.
This is Robbie Allen. I'm office manager for Rep Rezota. I just want to say on behalf of our office, congrats to the newly elected board members. We're looking forward to getting to work with you guys and continuing to work with those of you we've already been in contact with. In this interim period, we're focusing mostly on researching topics of concern to the district and looking for legislative solutions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any concerns that come up or ideas for new legislation. In the handout we've given, we have all our contact info. To update briefly on PRTF, and of course I'll take more questions on it after, but we did recently learn that there actually is another study that hasn't been concluded yet that's being carried out by Kuleana Coral in collaboration with, I think, a lab on the West Coast. And so we are waiting to hear back from that. We don't have a time frame on it, but hopefully we'll have it before, or a preliminary finding from it before the first meeting, which we're planning to have at the end of the month. We're just waiting on confirmation of a venue for the meeting. That's all. And then we'll be sending that out. But any questions? Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any questions on the community? Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to Representative District 41, David Alcos, the third.
Hello, Chair, Board. I just wanted to quick updates and go over some of the things that what happened during the month. We had Eva Bird Show at Eva Elementary School. Was pretty awesome with all the community coming out there. Bird lovers, really good event. Cameron, one of my classmates from Campbell High School, was the president. So just giving a shout out to him. He does have some other program. Alone Farm, some of you guys know. He's Alex Sue. He's a big farmer here in our community. He did purchase some land out in Kauai. Got to visit him out there, and he also bought Kauai shrimp out there. And they're also looking on to developing more, planting more vegetables or food for our community. We import about 80% of our food, and so hopefully we can build and grow more, not just Alone Farm, but other farmers to come out here. And he's doing the farming in Kauai. Got to spend a couple of days out there with him. Also, they did have a chef cooking pupu contest with Sam Choi, and they came in first place with their pupu fest. So I just want to give a shout out to Alex Sue. Also, Julie Reyes Oda and myself, we had a town hall here. So all the guys who came out, mahalo to supporting our town hall. Maybe once every quarter, we have a town hall in this area. I did have a meeting also with the director from the city and county, Parks and Recs. We did walk all the district areas of our fields. Not throwing them under the bus, but I kind of am, because that director, he's just been there for 4 months, but haven't been out in our community, haven't seen what's really going on. It was his first time putting feet and seeing what's really happened out on our fields. So I'm glad that he came out. Hopefully there's more action. A lot of the parks right now, I've seen the community parks water start going on. Mahiko Park getting green. Polo Park still stay brown, and that's the pump still stay back down. How Bush right now, I've seen the guys pulling cables in the new park out there, and they're putting on the automatic timer right now. So what I wanted at How Bush more is having more brand new grass, since a lot of our grass died. But that's some of the fight that we're fighting behind the scenes of, getting more grass back on the ground, because, the pump's been down so long. And if the city needs more money or more funding, we the state would be happy to see what we can do to support them. But please, if can come to us earlier, before the grass die or before anything happens. So we did have that communication, and it's still ongoing. I did come out here in the library and get the permits. I just wanted to give a shout out that every month there's a schedule, what's happening in their library for the kids and the keikis. So hopefully I can put it out there. So there's many great events in that area. the sidewalk was talking about at Ilima. And I just want to say thank you to principal over here to, being a big part of moving that sidewalk, and hopefully it works great, saving some kids' lives and making traffic much easier. The speed bump, yes. And I also wanted to give a quick update of James Campbell High School, the construction renovation. They're already doing, break down all the bleachers already, start digging, all the foundations, start moving on that. They also went put up a new board at the basketball gym. So construction is still coming along at the James Campbell High School. We're working on with Animal House, trying to come out to boys and girls to do some training there now. Hopefully that we can get one time so that they can do some boxing and stuff like that out there on some of that projects. And one great one that I just wanted to know, to let you guys know, I did got my beautiful granddaughter. She's about 1 month old now, and she's new to the family. She's the number 4 granddaughter. Her name is Taislin. And at 4th of July, this was the best 4th of July and safest one. Less fireworks that we ever did have. And shout out to the police and some of the communities that have been working on that. Also, we did have school drives. We had over 300 cars of school lunch food drives right here at ʻEwa Beach Park. And we also had at Kailailoa at the Carpenters Union, for that area. So over 300 cars and families come out for kids' lunch. So we've been busy on that. And let's see what else before I close. A couple more seconds about the racetrack. So as they were saying on the 26th, the mayor been going around the community talking to the people about all kinds of things. But the racetrack community been always following around and asking that they need someplace. We need to save lives. I know some people don't want it. I know some people does want it. But the bottom line is Kauai, Big Island, and Maui has a racetrack. We got to find a way to save lives. And even though maybe we got to go electric or race during the day or some other way that we got to figure out a location for these guys, we got to get them off our street and try to save life. I understand that the noise would be a problem, but if there is a problem, then maybe we can fix that problem and figure out some other options on it. Fire blocks. Miley had an issue on fire blocks. The fire. So just check your surrounding area. Make sure our community is safe. If you guys see anything in that area, please call us, call firefighters or something like that. And I just want to say thank you, mahalo, and God bless.
Thank you, Rep. Hold on, don't leave. Questions from the board?
Oriola Beach Park. I know you said the sprinklers, but the bathroom. Can you give a little update on that one?
Yeah, so the permits was already funded. We already got the money for the permits. That's already funded. The permits is still going. The $1.6 million or somewhere around there that we got is for the construction of the building. Now, the construction of the building is still need to get out to bid. We're still working towards that phase of getting that construction to bid. And as soon as that permit is, hopefully anytime soon,
Second, which park was the one that the pump, they're waiting for the parts and
waiting for the parts. That's the big park that we get by Ocean Point.
Eva
Boulevard District Park.
District Park.
By the fire.
20 acres.
So the one that only get kukuis.
That's the only one that kukuis and mud when the kids play. Sad to say, my grandson play out there too, and my nieces. When it's raining and you can see them practicing, I almost want to condemn that field. And it's so sad but we don't have any place else to go, So hopefully we can get all this going.
Yep.
So, but I am on top of it really hard. I just want to let you guys know, we're not sitting around and we're trying to work.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, question. So you said the racetrack would save lives by getting people that race off the street. Have there been any studies on any of the other islands or any place else in the US that shows that there's less speeding accidents when there's a racetrack?
I'll get back with you on that next month.
I'd like to comment on that though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm very in touch with the automotive community. They do say like sayings like, well, since we don't have a track, we're gonna take it to the streets. And something that I know that the most people that aren't into that, would just shake their head to that comment. But in reality, that's exactly what they're going to do. But it's always coming from the place of, we don't have a track anymore. So, it might not be like, there might be research done to it or not, but I just know as far as what the community says, they've been asking for a racetrack for over 2 decades. And, it's tough when the other islands have it, like he said. And one of the more, per capita when it comes to people into the automotive community, Oahu has the highest, and we're the one place that doesn't have a track. So, I think that the concept of saving lives is just, we'll give you guys a safe place to do your hobby. And that's kind of where that comes from. So
Thanks for that.
Yeah, there's always a risk at the race parks and,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just think, there's this meeting on the 26th, I'd encourage everyone to try to be there and listen to what the arguments are, and we get their voices in on that and things like that. And then
I know a lot
it's
about-
obviously going to continue to come up here.
I know a lot bit of what's happening, but I'm just gonna leave it up to them to speak about it a little bit more. They have the details on it. So there was a lot of, there was survey, looked in that area and things are passed,
Well,
but there's more to it than that.
I just don't want to, I think we gotta wrap this up. I think that we could do something with the Department of with the Transportation Committee and maybe have a meeting and call some people if we want to do a side meeting. So we're, depending on what happens, but it could be a good option to try to get representatives here to actually talk about it. So
John,
thank you.
John, I also gonna make them do a bike path, so you're gonna be good on that.
All right. Thank you, David. All right, Representative District 42, Diamond Garcia. Anybody? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Community questions? No, my bad.
My name is
please.
Jennifer Lum, and I am a resident here for about 17 years now. One thing that he mentioned, and it has been mentioned earlier, was that Hawaii gets most of its food imported, and because we're talking about fish and limu and the Aloon farms, I was researching this and I've been wanting to know why we don't have a community garden where we can grow our own food and we don't have to rely on commercial. Like, there shouldn't be a profit in providing food for us and our family. My yard is smaller than this little grow like area of benches, and I'm not going to be able to provide food for my family or my neighbors or whatever. And because of the current state of the world that we're in and all the funding, I just got another email from Hawaii Food Bank saying that they're going to run out of funds.
Yeah.
And I just think that a community garden would definitely be it. And I'm reading this article saying like they're just not interested in providing one for ʻEwa, even though we just keep growing. And I just want to know if that's going to be something.
That's a really good question. So
there's-
I just want to make it point. We have 7 minutes, right? So let's
I
wrap
can
this
make it
up.
okay. Quick point, Kailaloa Parklands. Yeah, Kailaloa Parklands. I'm sorry, Holly guy can't speak
Dude,
well.
7 minutes.
Okay, there's gonna be a master plan for that, all that parkland there, and they're gonna be taking community input. So that'll be a time, and it's gonna happen shortly. It's gonna happen within the next year or 2 years. And that'll be a time to ask for that, because I planned on asking for that too. So we'll be putting that out to the community as we get more information.
Thank you. You want to
Since you didn't ask some question, but I just came back up and say about Fort River Road, all the sewer area, I got the plans of what they're doing and the time frame, what went happen. So if the board want to know what's going on, I got this from the city today. It just came in my hands, and what kind of problems that they was facing, and so many things what was going on at the sewer area on Fort River Road. So thank you if you guys want to know.
Thank you for
I'll
that.
send an email to you.
Appreciate it. And then, yeah, I think that's a great comment. Maybe you can get with us and the representatives and we talk. It's a good idea. All right. Did we have a representative from Diamond Garcia's office? No? And our rep from Favela bailed, right? Okay. All right. Parks Committee report. I just have one to add on that, is that with that meeting about the bathroom tenants that you were asking. And so it's in right now. So there's funding to do the planning. I was asking about it's a multiple. It's not just the Department of Planning and Permitting, but they also have to deal back and forth with high electric and the water and all that. So there's the funds actually last for 2 years after the CIP has been awarded. And so there's 2 years to be able to do the construction. And so I was very much on their case about times and getting the contracts out and all that, so we can try to do that. So just know that also along with Alcos and Reyes Oda, we're super pressuring them, and we'll give you updates as that goes. So we had a meeting with them and with all the whole team and Ted and his whole team and everything like that. So hopefully it's not 49 years. Hopefully it's 2 years, right? So.
To fast track it, like how they get the Bill 7 project for the housing? Is there any way that you can see, like, up? Like the Bill 7 projects, how the governor, I mean, the mayor, they fast track the permits and all that stuff. If there's any possibility, yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, come to the next Parks Committee meeting. That'd be great. All right, Education Committee, anything? Okay, Transportation Committee? Oh, hold on. Did you have some?
No, no, not until my committee.
Okay. You were just getting ready. Okay. Go ahead, John.
There's a proposed bus service changes for opening the second phase of Skyline. Comments are due 7/15/25. I really asked the community to make those comments. I wish I could have said this earlier. Jeffrey, I sent you that flyer with the presentation. If you could put that in in the drive so that folks can see the presentation of how the changes are going to happen. But one big take for the community, whoever's still listening, is they're not going to give us 15-minute frequency bus service in Eva to Skyline. And if you're going to extend Skyline, we need 15-minute bus service. So if I can ask anyone to make a comment, make that comment. 15-minute frequency to Skyline from Eva. Thank you very much. They're doing it in Kapolei. They're not doing it in Eva. Thanks.
Thanks, John. I'm jumping over Ompo because you would have said it there. Right? Okay. Public safety, community outreach, homeless outreach. I don't even know. Okay. Economic development. Climate change.
Is this on? Okay, climate change and resiliency hubs committee meeting in 2 weeks here, July 24th, 7 a.m. And the resiliency hubs, we discussed community gardens. So please, if I'll give you my information and we can exchange information. I would love to see you there and talk about that. Again, 2 weeks here, a hybrid meeting. I'll be here live. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Hawaiian affairs. Military affairs. All right. You have 2 minutes. Did you want to say something about OMPO? All right. All right. Next regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 14th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Virtually via WebEx and in person at the Eva Beach Library. Hope to see everyone there. Closed.